Listeners, welcome to the 2025 5th Annual Supercar Show for Charity. We have a beautiful day here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, broadcasting from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, in the parking lot of our home office.
When you think about just the impact over the last 5 years that we have had for these organizations, I think that is just one of the coolest things in the world.
I think it's a real important part to highlight.
Thank you again for having us. It's a great turnout as
Another
always.
beautiful day.
A beautiful day, beautiful weather.
You know, we can all reflect back to when we were young kids, you know, wanting the Lamborghinis,
right.
And they're here, and you can see the family.
Matchbox cars.
The Matchbox cars.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much. We're really grateful for partners like Clearwater Capital Foundation. We could not serve the families we serve without partners like you, so thanks.
Terrific. Thank you. Go enjoy the shows.
Thank you.
Look at the cars. Look at the cars.
Thank you.
Listeners, welcome to the 2025 5th Annual Supercar Show for Charity. We have a beautiful day here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, broadcasting from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, in the parking lot of our home office. This is a fantastic event. You're going to see the cars rolling by in the background. We're going to be talking to the charitable beneficiaries. We're going to be talking to our key sponsors, people that have been with us in long-term relationships and in partnership to do this. And we have people that are coming in that are going to be new as well. So we have the 5 years running, relationships that go longer than that, and we have some people that have come in contact with us in this last year and stepped forward and said, I absolutely want to be a part of what you're doing here and the impact that's being made. After all, and you've heard it over time, impact is the result. That is the legacy component of anything that gets built, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So to kick off our dialogue in this event, I am joined by John Chapman, the founder and chief executive of Clearwater Capital Partners, and Greg Davis. Greg Davis is a partner with Clearwater Capital Advisors and the executive director of the Clearwater Capital Foundation. So there's no better way to talk about long-term relationships and vision and execution and impact than these two gentlemen. So John, Greg, welcome to this conversation. Welcome to this beautiful day. And here we go.
Pleasure to be here.
So I'm going to start with you, Greg, right?
Yes.
As the executive director of the foundation, and this is a Clearwater Capital Foundation event. Talk a little bit about the Clearwater Foundation and what today means as part of our mission.
Wow, thanks, John. What a pleasure to be here, and what a great day to be here with everybody. We're going to have over 1,000 guests the first day of summer. What a great way to launch the summer.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Foundation's been in place here for about 13 years. The creation of you and John Chapman, and it's just been building since that time. We're 13 years in. Last year, we gave away $160,000 to local charities through our foundation, which is the conduit how we give back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so many great organizations. We gave to 16 organizations through our 3 pillars last year.
Okay, and what are those 3 pillars?
That's women and girls, supporting them, supporting veterans organizations, and also just people in need in our community.
Very broadly too.
And we gave to actually over 30 people in total, or 30 organizations in total, if you include a matching program we have, employee matching program, which
I want to come back. I want to come back to that too in a moment,
Yeah.
in terms of the team, the culture, the engagement, because we've got the entire team pitches in and gives of their time and their resources to it. But the vision for this starts with John, right? So John, Clearwater Capital is going on 20 years. Next year we celebrate the 20th anniversary. Into that, you're like, yep, and we need to be giving back, right? We have a responsibility to give back through the foundation. Share a little bit about, who's Clearwater Capital Partners and why the vision of Clearwater Capital Foundation?
Well, John, thank you. And this is just such an incredible day. I apologize for being so distracted with what's going on around me. 20 years ago, we launched this firm to build what I've said then and say now, to build the firm that Wall Street wouldn't. To build something special that exists solely for the benefit of our clients, to empower them to live with confidence.
Talk louder, the engines are roaring in the background, right?
And of course the spirit of abundance.
Yeah.
That was baked into our vision from day one. And here we are, these many years later, and it's just amazing. We used to joke, I was sharing with John before we started here this morning that this is the 50th anniversary of the movie Jaws. And very early on, when John first joined us, and we would get one account after the other, and then the accounts would get bigger and bigger, that we would look at each other and say, you know what? we're going to need a bigger boat.
Exactly. Right?
And here we are today, and I just would never have imagined that we would have the impact that we're having now, and that we could bring out nearly 1,200 people on a beautiful summer day to just celebrate. Fine cars. There was my Ferrari hat. But just to be together and to have this experience and to share this day is just tremendous.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and in the end, the impact, and we'll be talking to the charities as we go through the day, as they talk about, because they're not just raising funds, right? The impact that they're having in life change that's taking place for people in a lot of ways that may never be our clients.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the challenges of life that hit. So our ability to give back. I think listeners are getting a flavor of what's going on around here right now, right? We're giving all new meaning to the term tailgating in terms of how this comes together. But that ability to give back with individuals as we serve just some of the most generous people you'll ever meet too,
Yes.
and the way that they think about it and how that's inspired us, and then that work together in serving families. And then what does it mean for the team members, right, and the employee base? We'll talk a little bit about the matching program, but how does this play out within the team too?
Well, culture, as we all know, any business owner, anybody who works with other people understands that to do the right things with the right people for the right reasons is everything.
Yeah.
And I just take great joy in the fact that when we put this foundation together, people were gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
And now everybody on the team wants to be part of it.
Yeah.
And everybody is here giving of their time on a Saturday morning. They could be doing a million other things.
Yeah.
And they're just walking around with the biggest smiles on their face. They're all wearing the red t-shirts.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just the energy is amazing.
Yeah.
So I think it's just terrific.
It is. And Greg, you got a white t-shirt on.
I do,
As the executive
yes.
director here and being different, but I guess I got a great t-shirt on too, right? So
I am promoting our merch tent today.
There you go.
It's $45, please. It's a fundraiser. Please
And the hat.
And the hat as well.
So hit on that too, right?
Yeah.
Because the cost, when people think about when they're donating, they're part of this, they're sponsoring it too.
Absolutely.
How does the economic model for this event actually work for people?
Absolutely. So we have a terrific group of corporate sponsors that are here, various tiers. You can hear some of them in the background, like you mentioned. Last year, John, we raised $80,000 from this event through donations from our corporate donors, through the merch tent that we have, and also our foundation supports pretty much the cost of this event. So it's all going back to the community, which is what it's all about,
Right.
And our firm, and this is something that John set up in day one when he set up this firm. 1% of our revenues goes into our foundation, which is our conduit to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And that's an important value of ours.
Yeah.
Giving back,
In that, I think that's so important too. The aspect of all the costs are underwritten by
Yes,
us.
Exactly.
Right? And I think about strategic philanthropy, right? We could write a check for the cost of the event and not do this. Why do this? Because other people want to engage. Other people might not, look at different things that they would want to be involved with.
Yes.
And we end up giving multiples of what the overall funds are versus the cost of the event too. So we can take care of the cost, and everyone that contributes, sponsors, buys merchandise,
You're so
sends
right.
in funds from out of town, buys the auction trips for around the world. Every dollar goes to the end beneficial charities.
You're so right, John. And just a lot of folks in the community, they don't know about these great organizations that are the primary beneficiaries. And just awareness, just walking by the tents, hearing this podcast, and the organizations that are going to be talking about their missions and how they are, making things better for everybody in our communities.
Well, and so you mentioned the matching program earlier, and John talked about culture and people engagement, 3 pillars of the foundation.
Yes.
And yet we all have personal things that are meaningful to us and our families and how we think about it. How does the matching program work with our team members? And and frankly, out there, I hope there's some people out there that are listening right now that are thinking about, that's the kind of firm that I want to be a part of, right? That's giving back, that understands their responsibility. It's just what we're doing and how we approach it it's just humbling to be a part of.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping people that are listening out there that are saying, I want to be a part of Clearwater Capital. As an employee, it's not even a benefit, right? It's just a part of our responsibility. What's the matching program all about?
Yep. So the matching program is a very generous matching program. So
I'm getting fired up out here,
it
too.
is. This is great. Yeah. How could you not?
Right,
you know?
right.
This is such a great morning, and it's such a great event. And we haven't even talked about, who spearheaded this event 5 years. This is the 5th annual car show, which we're raising great money for great causes. But the employee matching program enables each of us to give up to $1,000 to any organization that we, really feel in our hearts that we want to give to, whether it's, one that's represented here or one that's different. But we have a very important process, a grant process that has to flow through, so we don't accept every organization. But to be quite frank, we want to match up to $1,000 of gifts that our employees want to give back to the community. It's just a wonderful. Not many organizations have that either.
Yeah.
But it's the way that we can participate them in things that are important to them as well.
Yeah.
So we are the conduit. Our foundation is the conduit to enable that to happen.
Well, that's what people think about 401k matches, which are great, right, in terms of having that and employee benefits and how that all works. But basically, 100%, dollar for dollar, up to $1,000 in terms of where it goes. And it goes to where that individual is in their heart is led, as you said.
Exactly.
And it's every team member that has the opportunity to tap into that.
That's
too.
exactly right.
And so, John, you think back 20 years ago when you were founding the firm in 2006 and putting that together, and now sitting here today and looking back on this, how do you go from vision of what the firm was to looking at where it's at today? One, how does anybody that's stepping back and looking at an organization say, yeah, if we're going to go build something, how do you build it? And then how do you look back on that to celebrate it? And how do you look to the future to say, yeah, but we're just getting started?
Yeah, and John, I'll go back to something I said a few moments ago. From the very beginning, it was do the right thing with the right people for the right reasons. And the people are such a big part of this. I've been very, very fortunate to attract talent like Greg and you and so many others to come alongside me with this vision and dedicate our working hours to serving people the right way for the right reasons. And so it's amazing to think what we've come in 20 years, and I can only imagine in 5 years or 10 years from now what we're going to be.
And 20 years ago, probably wouldn't have envisioned this. And as you look forward, right, it's like, wow, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
And the opportunities for people seeking out firms.
One of the great privileges is to have work and to have a vocation where you show up every morning and think, wow, we're just getting started.
Yeah. You mentioned the working hours. I was talking to Valerie, who's part of our family office team, and she woke up at 4 o'clock yesterday morning thinking about a client case, because there were certain things that she was thinking through, the structure and the approach and how the legal and the tax play together. So it's also the sleeping hours, right, that we're committed to in serving beyond the waking hours.
24 hours a day.
So what's your favorite car here? If you were to pick one car, other than your own,
other than
right?
my own, I'm a little partial to my Ferrari, but I will say I am so excited once they all come in and get positioned to go and to look at them. You will not have a more special, more exclusive collection of supercars and amazing engineering and amazing automobiles than you get here today.
Yeah.
There are people who show their cars at this event every year, and it's the only event they show their cars at. Because there are car shows weekend after weekend after weekend, and this is the one that brings people out.
And I understand people transport their cars here to be part of this.
Exactly.
And last year, I think the total tally last year in terms of the value of the cars that we had was in excess of $51 million of the value of them.
Just right here in our parking lot.
Right here in our parking lot.
That's so cool.
And this year we're on track to I think break six figures in people's donations and contributions that are going out to the end charities, and it's fun for people to get together in community, but to have an impact at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
How they do
Exponential impact.
Yeah. So Greg, what are you looking forward to most? I'm going to let you go and enjoy the balance of the morning.
Well, I'm looking forward to mingling with the crowd and spreading the word about the organizations here too, and our foundation. It's great to look at the cars and everything, but it is a fundraiser too. We want to be giving back to the community and making people aware that this is what our foundation and our firm is all about. And so our whole team is here, spreading the word. We have a big committee that helped put this on. We'll start, next week for next year's event. But it's just a wonderful thing. 5 years, can you believe that?
Yeah.
And it's still going strong, and we're growing and growing.
And I'll talk to James a little bit later then too. Well, James is right here, so you know what?
All right,
I'm gonna let
all
you
right.
two get onto their show. We'll bring James in.
Thanks so much.
And then we'll roll from there.
Thanks so much, John.
All right.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it.
Thanks,
Enjoy
John.
it. Have a great day.
All right.
You too.
James, come on in. We'll steal a few minutes. We're gonna have to put a sign up here too, because the crowd's so big. We got people just flowing through all over the
It
place.
gets crazier and crazier
So
each year.
exactly. Well, so you're getting cars coming in. They're still rolling in where they're at. But James, we were just talking. I was just talking to our CEO and the executive director of the foundation.
Yep.
But this was your brainchild.
Yeah, you could say that.
5th annual, 2025.
Yeah.
Every year it gets bigger. The quantity, the quality, the fund is raised because in the end it's a fundraiser for the charities that benefit.
Yeah.
And we got beautiful day going too. When you step back, what are you most proud of now looking on 5 years of the impact that's being made?
It's an easy answer. It's an easy answer, and the answer was evident yesterday when we had our all hands on deck meeting with the team in preparation. I think what I am most proud of this year is just how the team has come together in truly a all hands on deck team effort. There were years where, different people had different levels of responsibility, and the fact that we were in that all-team meeting yesterday, and there were certain questions that I couldn't even answer because other people on the team had taken such leadership within those different subcategories, that just made me like the happiest person in the world. And it really is a testament of how when our team comes together, all hands on deck, things get done and they get executed really, really well. I could not be more proud of the team.
Well, and so a couple of the themes that you had coming into this year too that you were thinking about coming into 5 years, 5-year milestone.
Yep.
Doing something once is nice, right? To be able to have it go for a few years, hitting a 5-year mark is a big deal.
A little bit, yeah,
big
kind of a
deal, but
milestone.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of. I talk to business owners, entrepreneurs all the time, right? You have a lot. The J curve exists for a reason. There's a lot of investment on the front end, and when does that payoff start coming? And a lot of times, there's nothing scientific about it, but you start looking at the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th year, things actually get liftoff.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So when you look back at this, long-standing relationships, the impact that's being made, how do you think about those two topics?
I think of it in terms of just the level of impact as time goes on. When we first reorganized this foundation, probably in 2018 is when we did a little bit of that reorg. We talked about, do we want to go an inch deep and a mile wide? Or do we want to go a mile deep, right, in a handful of areas? And I think when you think about the power of partnership, right, that's kind of the theme, is that when we have identified these 3 organizations that we've partnered with each and every single year, when you really start doing some of the back math on some of the dollars raised for these same 3 organizations, that's when it kind of starts getting really exciting, right? It's easy to talk about, almost like when we talk about inflation, it's easy to talk about it in a moment in time, right, in one single year. But then we talk about the cumulative effect, right? Cumulative effect of inflation, cumulative effect of giving. When you think about just the impact over the last 5 years that we have had for these organizations, I think that is just one of the coolest things in the world.
I think it's a real important part to highlight. It's not, let's give a little bit to 3 organizations. The first year, the second year, these same 3 charitable beneficiaries, a Giving Heart, which you're actually on the board of.
Yes.
The other one is Bridge Youth and Family Services that Greg Davis is on the board of.
Yep.
And then Fellowship Housing that we've got so many connection points and relationships in history with Fellowship Housing, right?
Yeah.
But having those three organizations, and we'll be talking to them as we go through the time together this morning. But when you think about those 3 organizations, I mean, why were they selected to begin with?
Yeah.
And then the staying power and the commitment to those organizations, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? And what does that mean if you're talking to, I mean, a lot of the, friends and people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put you on the spot in a second of what your favorite car is, and you'll have to figure out which friend you want to,
Okay.
We'll go through that in a moment.
Yeah, when I think about it, I mean, we were very deliberate in choosing these 3 organizations. Obviously, innovation is a huge theme of not just our investment profile, but really how we operate as a company and how we look at wanting to partner with other companies or other organizations that have that same innovative spirit. So that was number 1. And then we really were just looking for people who were very much committed to doing it the right way. And that might sound cliche, but unfortunately, when you look at some different charitable organizations, they don't always operate at that bar that you would hope for, whether it's from a financial standpoint or a management standpoint or an ethics standpoint. So when we kind of did that initial due diligence, I mean, we had the highest bar of organization that we wanted to power with. not just to be beneficiaries of this event, but also to partner alongside of us, show up, help us out with the event. I mean, each and every one of the organizations here has an integral role in putting this event on, as a team. So it's not just us putting this on for them, it's us doing this all together. So that partnership, also then with the same values, ethics, innovative spirit, that's why we're with these organizations.
And I know you're grateful in so many ways because of the team.
Yeah.
The sponsors, the support, the donations that come in. So I want to give you a little bit of a series of opportunities for thank yous in here. And first, some of the sponsors, long-standing relationships too.
Almost all of them.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go back. What's the thank you want to express to all the sponsors of this event?
Well, I'd say initially, my biggest thank you is to the ones who are willing to take a risk on us in the first year, maybe even the second year. There's a lot of car shows that come and go, and they'll be here for 1 year and they'll kind of disappear there the next year for whatever reason. So to really make kind of a big ask from these organizations, the large donation for these sponsorship dollars, there was a risk involved and a confidence in our team associated with that. So my first thank you would be just thank you for taking a risk on us. I hope that it has turned out. I think us being here 5 years again later, with those same organizations supporting us, I think it's a testament to how well the event has gone. But the biggest event is to, I'd say, 3 different categories of people. Number one, our sponsors, because they've showed up for us each and every single year. Number 2, the team. The number 3, I said it, I believe, in one of the last podcasts, but people are dedicating their entire Saturday morning to coming out here and being here at this event. This event isn't possible without everybody waking up at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, to be out here on this event in the 100-degree weather that we're having. The breeze is pretty nice. Yeah. But that's a huge time commitment, and it's a commitment to bring your car out, put miles on it. And we were talking to a Hamilton collection. One of their cars actually had a little bit of an issue on the way here, but it's a commitment to be here. Yeah. So I'd say those 3 things are what I'm most thankful for, and really just put out my biggest thank you to this group, because without any of those 3 categories, none of this happens.
Right, and for the community, and for the kids to come out and see some of these cars that they may never see, right? This is open. It's free attendance-wise for anybody that's coming out. And talking to even some, 5, 6, 7-year-olds earlier, right? That were walking by and their eyes were huge and they're excited.
Because I was that 7-year-old at one point.
Right.
That was me, and so to be able to deliver that then for the same next generation, hopefully raise another generation of gearheads who with a philanthropic spirit. Yeah. If that's what we're doing here, man, then that's a good time well spent, I think.
Yeah. So the thank yous going out, people carving out their time being here. The 5th year isn't going to be the last year we're doing this.
I certainly hope not.
As long as the weather holds up, there's going to be the 6th annual next year. Yeah. So what's the message you want to convey to people that, right as we speak, don't even know about this? Yeah. Either to come over and see it, to come over and sponsor it, to contribute to the effort that's going on with the charities, to bring their car or cars out for it. What would you want to be sharing with them?
I think the message would be, I think at this point the event hopefully has a track record of, being a pretty good one, being one worth being at. But I think my ask would be, if you're going to come on to participate in multiple ways, right? It's one thing to bring the car, one thing to dedicate your Saturday morning to being out here, super thankful. But at the end of the day, this is also a fundraiser, right? We've got hats, we've got shirts, we've got trips you can win. Yeah. There's so many different opportunities to give. So I'd say if you're going to come all in and come ready to play, come ready to give, because at the end of the day, this event is for our 3 organizations. And if we can continue to increase the amount of money that we're raising for them, that's time well spent.
Yeah, well, like you said, going back to the first, right? Some individuals, when they first took a risk on us and being here, that was the introduction piece of it. Yeah. And then the double down again, just kind of continued to build in that way. And so for those that are like, wait a second, I want to be all in, right? Also just come.
I'd also say come, and also come early, because I tell you what, this event, it fills up sooner and sooner each year. Yeah. So don't be afraid to give me a call in December and let's get something going.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how would people get a hold of you about the car show? I know we got different social media and contact points. CCP Wealth Instagram is really kind of the main hub of all things Clearwater Supercar Show. Okay. And then also my email, james.chapman@ccpwealth.com. It's available on our website as well. But lean on Instagram. Most of these people are here because of Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to reach me, CCP Wealth. Yeah, well, you've done a fantastic job
John.
Leading this effort, getting the organization with the community, right? The police, the community itself, right? In terms of the politicians and the representatives. Yeah. The facilities and all being a good corporate neighbor with all the buildings around us.
Can I make one other thank you? One other thank you I completely forgot. Greens Point Office Park. Yeah. The building that we're in here in the parking lot, and not just this lot, but now the other 3 adjacent lots, if it weren't for them blessing this event, this event probably wouldn't have even happened. So that's a massive thank you, not only just to them, but also their team as well. Because there's a ton that goes on behind the scenes of their team helping us, Kevin Durant specifically. So just a huge thank you to them as well before I forget to mention it.
Yeah, and it's so often, right? And this, I keep bringing this back to our Entrepreneurial Legacy series.
Yeah.
In the end, with entrepreneurs, a lot of the world sees the flash. They see the car on the lot. They see the big house. They see whatever it might be on the surface.
Yeah.
Everything takes way more work behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh.
To get to that point, right?
Yeah.
So that aspect of, don't judge. If cars aren't your thing, go get engaged in whatever it may be, right? But for the people that are here, and for a lot of our team, and for you, and rallying people around something that is this passion asset, and we've talked about passion assets with
check out the other
families,
episode,
right? All the time, right? And there's all these different areas that become collectibles and passion assets, and how we think about the wealth management aspect of what we're doing, which is also to enjoy it.
And then how that combines them back in with the philanthropy. It all
comes together.
It wouldn't appear to be as connected at the surface, but when you dive into it, it really is.
Yeah,
all this is connected.
Absolutely. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Fantastic.
Appreciate
Great work. Go enjoy it.
All right, my man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Too. All right. And so as we continue on here with the conversations, we're going to end up having dialogue with some of the various charities. So come on in. You're not Bob Berg,
I'm
right?
not Bob Berg.
Please have a seat.
Yeah.
And I'm John Sleeting. You're not Bob Berg.
I'm not. I'm Kim Downing. I am the new executive director of the Giving Heart Foundation.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, so then new. So give us a little bit more background about, who is Giving Heart, the organization. We can fill a little bit about Bob, and then obviously if you're new, what brought you to the organization yourself?
Okay, that's a lot. So let me get started. So Giving Heart Foundation is an organization that funds transformative and innovative research in the space of pediatric congenital heart disease. We have a mission to end the need for pediatric open heart surgery. So really a sound mission.
Proactive, preemptive, versus the kids having to go through very invasive surgeries. Is that?
Yeah, so the way it works with pediatric congenital heart disease research is because kids are born with congenital heart defects, and so they have a surgery when they're very young, but because they're growing, a lot of the work that's done on their heart needs to be done when they're first born, then maybe when they're 18 months old, then when they're 6 years old, then when they're 18 years old, because the valve or the patch or the surgery that they had on their heart at the time their heart was a certain size doesn't grow with the child. And so children often with congenital heart disease are required to have multiple open heart surgeries, very invasive surgeries, because there's not yet technology that grows with the child or technology to minimize those invasive surgeries. And so our goal really is to be as innovative as possible to try to impact children really early through funding innovative research that can make a real difference early on in a child's life so they don't need to have multiple surgeries.
Well, and that's the aspect that attracted our foundation when we were evaluating organizations. We think about innovation from an investment viewpoint, right? And we think about disruptive technologies, and from a wealth management investment viewpoint, how you're thinking about those technologies and the return on investment that they bring to investors. But it doesn't just have to be for-profit companies that are investments, right? Organizations that are innovative in what they're doing have real tangible return on investment. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to measure. It's a child that doesn't have to go through open heart surgeries, right? It's a family that doesn't have to suffer through the thoughts that come into play when your little one is potentially on an operating table. And it's saving lives. I mean, how do you put price tags on that return on investment too? And so with the background of the organization, why did you now choose? It's one thing to give financially to an organization. You've now committed your professional life to the. Why is that? Why would you do that?
This is just, I actually, by background, I'm a pediatric intensive care unit nurse, and so have had the opportunity to work with a lot of families who experienced congenital heart disease and congenital heart disease surgeries. And this work is just so important. It has such a tremendous impact. And I love the way the foundation went about not the individual lives of each family is so valuable, but really trying to be transformative in the work by funding innovative surgery that's going to have an enormous impact on future children and future generations. And I'll tell you, the other thing I love about the foundation is just the culture. They really their goal is to give children their childhood back.
Yeah.
Like, let's let children have the joyous, messy, experience of childhood. And so all of their work is really framed through that. So trying to give children their childhood back through this investment in innovative and transformative research. So I love that they see the through line, the connection, and just really the culture of fun and joy, trying to bring joy and fun and childhood back into the situation where kids have.
Well, you have young people that are working here today, volunteering, that came over to participate in this too. So when you talk about culture of the organization, how does that work with these young people now that are coming over and volunteering and being part of this?
Yeah, well, you had mentioned Bob Burke, and so it's worth just having a throwback to Bob. Bob and his family started a Giving Heart Foundation back in 2010, and really was based on a personal story that they had with congenital heart disease and wanting to make an impact in that space. And Bob also has a real passion for leadership. And so about 5 years ago, he started a program of a Giving Heart Foundation called Leading with Heart. And it's a program that is free for high school students. And it's a 6-month course that invests in high school students and teaches them about leadership, really bold, empathetic, innovative leadership, really trying to keep that through line. And the students in this Leading with Heart program also are taught about social responsibility, and they raise money for the foundation so that students are really supporting the work of helping other kids that are walking the journey of congenital heart disease.
Yeah. Well, and what better function than to be a part of than this too. I'd hope for them to take a look, and that doesn't stop with young people, doesn't stop with a class, a leadership program, that we all should be living that out in our day-to-day lives in terms of how we come alongside organizations. Professionally, we talk to people, this whole wealth management topic, not to oversimplify it, but it's pretty simple. You have a choice. How much tax do you want to pay? What charities do you want to give to? And what do you want to have for your family? It's only 3 places it goes to, right? And so if you can come alongside intentionally and help fund charitable organizations that are making a dividend and having a great return on investment as you're enjoying it for your family and reducing taxes to the greatest extent possible, I think there's so many organizations that have that greater return on investment than all the press, and I'm not going to make a commentary again on soapbox in terms of taxes and spending that takes place, but on the ground, and the passion you bring up about Bob, and he shared before and publicly about his grandchild, that it was a personal connection that was like, how do you make a difference? And how do you step into that and then pass that on, not just from writing a check, but now training up young people in being here?
Yeah, and you've made me think of one more thing that really drew me to the foundation, and they are such good stewards of the money that is given to them. So all of the grants that are given to fund research are matching grants. And so over the course of the 15 years that the foundation has existed, they've granted about $2 million in funding, but through matching grant encouragement have turned that into $5 million in funding projects. And so really trying to maximize the money they give to turn it into even more value. And the other piece that's really neat about the foundation is a lot of the work they fund, because it's so transformative, innovative, is data that physicians use to then apply for phase 1 clinical trials or NIH funding. So it sort of is that grounded funding that opens up the door for even more research, for more opportunity for funding. So kind of getting the ball rolling to make that really large impact.
So I think for the gamers out there, which I am not, so I don't even know what I'm talking about here, right? You get certain levels and you unlock, different things within, video games, I guess, right? But it's the same way, right? You get proof of concept and it unlocks more and more dollars then to fund that. Why? Because people want to fund winning projects. I mean, you step back and think about the work, if people were giving to a Giving Heart. This isn't Giving Heart doing this in the back room. When I was speaking with Bob about a year ago, he was sharing about a joint venture. I think it was 1/3 each, if I recall correctly. So the facts from you, but it was 1/3 each with Cleveland Clinic. I think the University of Denver Children's Hospital, a Giving Heart, 1/3 each going in to the research in that proof of concept. With is it NIH to come in terms of potential additional grants. So that was a year ago. If I got the facts right, is that still in progress?
Yeah, that's a project that's still in progress, and you're right. It is a 3-way partnership, and it is with Cleveland Clinic. They're sort of the grounding piece of that work. And that's a really cool project that is actually looking.
No, you got the motorcycles rolling in too, right behind you.
It's a really cool project that is looking at how to personalize blood pressure management for infants undergoing congenital heart disease.
Wow.
Because they've identified that really personalized blood pressure management can optimize the outcome neurologically for kids.
Okay.
So what they're really doing is making an impact on kids' neurodevelopment for the rest of their lives by investing in this blood pressure management during the time
on the
of
front
surgery.
end of it, yeah.
And so the project is actually just getting underway. I think we were in initial conversations with Dr. Marino at Cleveland Clinic when this first happened. So we're just sort of getting the project underway, but exactly what we had talked about before, the goal of this three-way partnership is to get funding so that there's enough data to apply for an NIH grant, which will then allow for sort of larger movement towards a phase 1 clinical trial in the works.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so when you heard about this car show, this event, you know, I'm guessing, as most people, it's like, wait, what are we talking about? What are we doing? What was your first understanding or first impression of what you heard about this event?
Well, I thought it was so exciting that Clearwater Capital does this. It's so fun, and it's such a fun way to give back to nonprofits and support the nonprofit community. And I also feel like it fits well with the Giving Heart Foundation mission because we like to have fun and sort of that idea
culture.
of bringing kids their childhood back. So let's have some fun while we're doing this really important work. So I love the fit. And the other thing, you know, I just want to comment on, I think that our involvement in this event has really helped the Giving Heart Foundation go from a more regional foundation to have a more national presence.
Wow.
We, for the first maybe decade, we're really funding more projects in the Chicago area. And some of the growth that's been happening in the organization, in part supported through Clearwater, really has allowed us to turn our lens national to see who is doing the most innovative work. And so we have partnerships now at Cleveland Clinic and at UCLA and at Children's Wisconsin, and also still have a great partnership with Lurie Children's, but we've been able to expand our lens nationally. And that's happened also within the Leading with Heart program. It's been a regional project, but this next year we're turning national and looking to have some national cohorts of leadership, high school leadership programming. So just excited and love this event, and are also grateful for some of the things it's allowed us to grow and do.
And I was just talking to James, who the whole idea of the car show and how we approach the foundation, and he and I work together with a lot of different families when we think about the philanthropic aspect. And it is one of those, fewer and going deeper is more impactful because it's relational, right? And James sits on your board.
He is on our,
right? So it's like giving of time, the human capital, the intellectual capital, the coming alongside. It's not just writing checks, but how do you have long-standing relationships and commitment to the thesis. It would have been one thing to say, okay, here's a check to the organization and then good luck, but to spend that time, continue to have that investment, along with others, right, that pour a lot of resources into Giving Heart, and that the leadership and the advocacy back with world-class organizations like the University of Denver Children's Hospital, like Cleveland Clinic. I mean, you're not going to get better in terms of minds coming together to solve some of the world's biggest problems, right, with the best outcomes, hopefully, in the end.
Yeah. And, you know, we love it, too, because with our partners in giving, our partners in philanthropy, we try, obviously the dollars are very meaningful to our work, but we really try to create partnerships, exactly what you're saying. James is on our board, and have a partnership with Clearwater in this work, and really try to have people not just write a check, but be invested in the work, be invested in understanding. You know, a lot of people that give to our work also come and volunteer at our golf outing, or volunteer at our family fun day, or are part of our Leading with Heart program. So really trying to live in that space of creating partnerships and relationships rather than funding dollars. As valuable and meaningful as those are, the relationships are also so very important.
Yeah, it's the combination of all those buckets of capital. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, sharing a bit more with our listeners about Giving Heart. We're so, excited and looking forward to hearing how some of these trials and the tests and the research continues to play itself out. When you look at some of these challenges, you can't look at it with other than humility to be like, wow, we know what we do. And we can go deep there, but there's so many challenges in the world that are getting solved by great people out there. And your role now and being committed to that, congratulations.
Thank you.
Say hi to Bob for me too.
I sure
the next
will.
time you see him.
Will. He's here. He's here. You
and
can.
I'll let you go enjoy the rest of the show too.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. No,
It's great to meet you.
You too. You as well. So as we keep going here too, it's just an exciting, beautiful day as you, our listeners, have been watching the cars coming through, taking it all in, and we're just having a wonderful, wonderful time here. We're going to talk to some more of our charities and get their perspective on these long-term relationships, like you just heard from A Giving Heart, as we engage in the next few. Courtney, Allison, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation today. It's a beautiful day, right? So we got smiles on, the cars are out there, we're having a lot of fun with it. And you represent Fellowship Housing in the organization. So for our listeners, first we'll start out with who's Fellowship Housing, share a little bit about that. Personal introduction, your connection, a little bit of history or perspective from Fellowship Housing, and then we'll get into the rest of the day too. So Courtney, do you want to start maybe with who's Fellowship Housing?
First of all, thank you so much for having us. We're really thrilled to be here for the 5th year, right?
Yes, 5th year.
It's always such a fun event, and even though it's warm today, the race is amazing. So just super excited and grateful to be here. So
Oh gosh, thank you. No, thank you.
So I'm working for the development director with Fellowship Housing. I've been with Fellowship Housing for almost 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge privilege to be able to serve the families that we work with. And Fellowship Housing's been around since 1991, empowering single moms to build a new legacy. So for us, that comes in the form of 2 years of transitional housing, financial literacy training, and all kinds of wraparound support services to help guide families from crisis to long-term stability. And so that can be families that are experiencing homelessness or domestic violence or or widows,
Wow.
just a variety of things and circumstances. So lots of really hardworking moms who just need a hand up.
Yeah. No, that's the work is impactful. We'll talk a little bit more about that too in terms of how that plays out. So Allison, how did you get connected with Fellowship Housing then?
So I would say when my daughter was about 1.5 years, I was kind of in between placement, and similar to like what Courtney said, is helping moms that are kind of in the verge of facing homelessness. I had left a domestic violence situation. I was living transitionally with my parents, obviously not a long-term solution. So I was blessed to be accepted into the program. And like I said, she was 1.5 at the time when I went into the program. Now she just recently graduated high school.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. We had been blessed with getting a house through Habitat for Humanity upon graduating fellowship. So my advocate really helped advocate through that situation. They had a debt retirement program, so even though I entered into the program with $16,000 of debt, I was able to have saved that much upon my graduation. So that was a big feat. And still have the house that I moved into 15 years ago. So I'm blessed to have that stability that a lot of moms feared not having for their children. And she was also granted being one of the ones to receive a legacy scholarship. So she's going into cosmetology starting next week, and most of that is 100% paid for. So that's a big financial relief off of, that she can still pursue her dreams going forward with that gift.
If you don't mind sharing, and thank you for being so open about your story too, because life isn't easy. The challenges that are there. How did you first find out about Fellowship Housing yourself?
So that's an interesting question. I want to say that my mom knew somebody that was in the program. So like she said that the program was started back in the 90s. And I didn't have my daughter till it was 2007. So obviously this is, over a decade later, but she had known somebody who was in the program, had been successful, and thought that it would be a good opportunity, especially because it was local to the area, that, I was already working out in the area, that if I could get assistance with, having affordable rent.
Yeah.
That would be a great opportunity if I qualified. Now, in all transparency, I didn't make enough to get into the program, so I really had to advocate with my employer to get a little bit more as far as income goes, so that I could be accepted into the program, and I did.
Okay.
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic. Because so much is word of mouth, right? As much as we're trying to, use social media, the development side of it, here's the mission, communicate that in terms of the fundraising aspect and the support that's needed. The other side of that, excuse me, the other side of that is the single moms.
Yeah.
And them even being aware of it.
Exactly.
And if that comes through word of mouth, how best would an individual that is in a life circumstance where they need that hand up, which I love, the hand up, not a handout, right?
Yep.
It's the hand up, it's the development, it's the training, it's the educational side of it.
Yeah.
What do people need to consider? How would people even appoint someone in need to explore with fellowship housing of I need help at this time in life, I need help? How would that happen? And Allison, maybe from your perspective too, but then Courtney, I'd be curious from yours.
If I can speak to that, I have obviously, there is a big community of single moms. So anytime that I come across somebody who might benefit from fellowship the way that I have, I just direct them to their website. And I believe there's an intake form on there. So then they get a call back to see what's bringing them into the program, if they qualify, and all those next steps forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, first of all, if you're in need, go to fhcmoms.org.
One more time with the engines in the background.
fhcmoms.org. So it's for Fellowship Housing Corporation, and then moms is plural.org.
Okay.
So right there on the front page, it says "Need help?" ?
Okay.
You click on that, and it tells you all the program qualifications and is the application there. But we even say, if you're I'm close, but I'm not quite there, reach out, because we have tons of local partners that will help us to get you the resources that you need while you're in the application process. So for some moms, they might come in and go, I don't have a car yet. And that's one of the qualifications for the program, is you need to have a car and insurance and your license together. We've got car partners.
Okay.
So Cars Ministry at Willow Creek and Cars of Hope, and we can help work on that with you to get you ready to enter in the program. Like Allison was saying, that there is a certain amount of income you need to have, so you've got margin, so you can work the program to really move from crisis to long-term stability.
Right.
Again, if you're not ready to do that, we'll help push you to resources to help you get to that place until you're ready to come into the program. And so when a mom moves in with us for those 2 years, they're paying a program fee for access to all of the services, including housing. And right now, it's for a 1-bedroom apartment, your program fee is $650 a month, and for a 2-bedroom, it's $800 a month. So it's well below market rental rates, so much more affordable to help them get back on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so for moms in need, don't hesitate, reach out, enter in
Please.
dialogue,
Yeah.
whatever that is, don't hesitate.
And it's a vulnerable place to be in.
Yes.
And so we try on the website and with our staff to be really warm and welcoming, and to give stories from other moms. There's even moms who have reached out and said, I hesitated to reach out for the help that I really needed because I felt like I was in a vulnerable place. It just feels like a lot during that time of crisis. And they're like, can I put a testimonial on the website to help encourage moms to just take that step and reach out for help? So we've got lots of that on the site too. If you need to hear those stories before you're ready to reach out, go and comb through the website and see those too.
Yeah. So Allison, is you, and again, I'm asking very personal questions, so if you don't want to answer, that's okay.
That's fine.
With fellowship housing and going through, and where you're at, and your daughter, and could you have envisioned life without the time you were connected to fellowship housing? What would that have looked like if you just had a picture in your mind?
I do actually kind of look back a lot to say where would I be without fellowship. and what would that look like? What would that future look like with my daughter? Because they've really, without fellowship, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have gotten my house through Habitat for Humanity. I wouldn't have had that transition for the 2 years of being able to pay down my debt and accumulate savings. And it's just even like that community. There was just a loving and warm, welcoming community of other single moms that are facing the same struggle as you are. So I have also formed lifelong friendships with those other moms that were in the program with me. So, I mean, just a beautiful blessing.
Yeah. Well, and I love the way you say it, because there's fellowship housing, the organization,
Yes.
but there's also living in fellowship, the concept.
Definitely.
Right? And being together and being in community with one another, to support one another, to have those days where we all need to vent about something, we all need a shoulder to cry on, we all need, right? I mean, all of that coming together.
Might
is
need a
living
roll
in
of toilet
fellowship.
paper, you
Right?
know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't worry.
Exactly. You never know.
Go to
You
your
never know what's
neighbor.
going to be
Yeah,
needed
exactly.
too.
Yeah.
And so those are the needs, and having fellowship housing there, and the blessing that it is.
Yeah.
Now, it's a faith-based organization.
It is.
And going through it, how does faith enter into then the organization itself and the curriculum, the dialogue, and that living in fellowship? How does that shape the organization?
Do you want to speak about it from your perspective, or you want me to go?
Well, I was going to say, I think in some senses that can be why some moms are hesitant to go into the program. I was already, I had a strong faith established. I grew up in Willow Creek, so I was connected with the community, with the church.
And Willow Creek is a local community church close by to where we're at right now.
And like Courtney
Christian,
said,
non-faith,
has a lot of resources that they provide for fellowship. And so whether it's going to the Financial Peace University classes, whether it was through the CARS ministry, getting help through them. But I would say most importantly, when you're sitting with your advocate, you are supported through prayer and just being lifted up with that. You can, you would be established with maybe even creating a small group of other single moms where you're kind of delving into that spiritual piece of it, outside of your crisis, outside of your living situation, you can find hope.
That's huge.
So I would say that our faith, as our staff and our board, informs how we're supporting the families that we're serving. We're called in our faith to support those that are vulnerable, to come and to lift them up. And that's what we want to do every day, is welcome every mom and child that comes through our doors with God's love. And that's what we strive to do. That said, there are no faith requirements for the program. We never want that to be a barrier to entry. And we've had plenty of moms of other faiths that have come in over the years that we have served, and we make any accommodations that are needed to meet them where they're at. I can think of one mom several years ago who was not comfortable. We have several events that, because we do have a lot of church partners, happen at churches, and she was not comfortable going, and we said that's okay. We'll provide a virtual option for you. We'll bring you your event gifts that everyone's receiving from that to your house.
Right.
That's okay.
Right. Because in the end, in my mind, right, if I was it's this aspect of the individuals in the scenario where they're at, but how it informs, like you said, the board, the staff, the individuals, to live out their beliefs independent of where the individual they're serving may be at in their life circumstances, even in their own faith journey and what that means. But when people look and I will say the skeptics that might be out there, if you want to see people living out in their Christian faith, it's not just looking at the church. It's looking at organizations like Fellowship Housing going, no, it's imperfect. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. We all have, issues as human beings, right? But if people want to see it get lived out, Fellowship Housing is that light on the hill, is a beacon of people trying their best to live out their faith, to come alongside, to meet the needs. Back to your point, independent of where the individual's circumstances might be, too.
Absolutely.
So when you think about donations, development, your day job too, in terms of how you're doing that, how do you turn around then to tell this story, which is heartfelt and personal in the success and the journey? How do you tell that from a development viewpoint in fundraising, and what would possible donors consider as they think about Fellowship Housing as one of their recipients?
Absolutely. So, well, first of all, our amazing moms make it really easy to share stories, and they're so strong and open to sharing their stories, which makes our job in development easy, because when you hear a mom's story directly, like, you can't not connect with it and be moved, right? So I'm grateful for moms like Allie who step forward and share their stories. Love Local Media helps us share more stories on the podcast. But when I talk to donors, there are tons of ways to get involved, and I'm trying to find out what motivates them and where are they at, and how do they want to get involved. You know, we've got housing property partners. We have people with DAF funding, people who love to golf, people who love cars. Right. And so for, like you asked before, how does even the car show support our fundraising and marketing efforts? And just getting out in the community is huge, and spreading the word about the need to support the single moms and their kids that we serve. And then also letting more families who might be in need know that we're available to help them too. Sorry, I'm distracted by these cute cars that are being raced behind us.
All kinds of cars showing up, right?
It's really cute. So yeah, just there's a plethora of ways to get involved. I would just direct them to talk with me, and I like to have personal individual conversations to see how I can get them plugged in. But we are growing. When I started on staff 8 years ago, we were helping 18 families at a time. And I'm really excited to share, we actually just added this last week several new housing units, and we're up to 56 housing units. Wow. 56 families we can serve at a time now. Yes.
Right.
And continuing to grow. We're on this 5-year vision plan to take us by 2028 to serving 80 families at a time, because we just know the need in the community is great.
Yeah. And since 1991, when it was founded.
1991.
And it's a 2-year program, right?
Yeah.
So there's this aspect where it's and again, I like the hand up versus the hand out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look at certain programs, certain policy programs run by states, counties, even the country, where it runs the risk of turning into a lifestyle, right? Versus a safety net and the aspect of it. But the component where it's 2 years, but it incorporates training. It is in some ways, it's a matching program too. You needed to have compensation to qualify to be in there and not just live out, in order to figure out, okay, what's next and how do you go through it.
And a big piece of that too is that you're sitting with your family advocate. It's so personalized that you're making goals for what you want for your future. So some moms graduate the program being able to buy their own home, or they want to continue to rent, but they can do that independently outside of fellowship.
Right.
And it's whatever is meeting your needs. Now, for me to be able to say I own my own home at 27, having a 3-year-old, I thought that was unfathomable. And so I mean that was just a huge accomplishment.
It's a huge accomplishment.
And because I grew up in a single mom household where we moved a lot, and I wanted that stability for my daughter, and not kind of breaking that cycle in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, to break it down a little bit, when the moms come in, they're working on, and it is customized. It's very much what your goals are. What do you want to do? And our family advocates only work with up to 10 families at a time, because there's a lot going on that they want to support and really resource them well. So they're working on their credit score. They're increasing their income, adding to their savings, decreasing their debt. And then 90% of our families graduate the program moving into independent living of their choice without outside assistance. And 46% of those are buying their own home.
Wow. So when we talk about impact, long-term, long-standing relationships, that is the impact, right?
Yeah.
And it's the life changes, the breaking the cycle. And now your daughter having different opportunities than you were thrust to in circumstances because of all of your work, right? And your faithfulness and your diligence and your playing that out, right? And leading, and yet doing it in fellowship with others to add to your own personal skill set, to your understanding to how do you do that. And that's the community aspect of what's come together. In our day job with a lot of families that we serve that have got significant levels of wealth, and some of the most discerning business people that you'll meet, and they come back and they're like, fellowship housing, in the top few of organizations that they come alongside, from their private foundations or donor advised funds, going to the golf outings, being here today, right? And it's one of the reasons that we looked at it when we were like, all right, we're starting this car show. Who are the beneficiaries of the proceeds raised here? In our mind, fellowship housing was also right at the top of the list, because of the impact that you're having locally for long periods of time, long-standing relationship, and that's what we want, and that's what we want to see continue into the future too, to have more and more stories of life change, because ultimately that's the business we're in, of changing lives for everybody. And it's such an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
Hear your story and how fellowship housing played a role in that. And kudos to you for all your work and your family and the success you're realizing.
Thank you so much.
So well done, well done.
Really
Thank you both.
Thank you so much. We're really
joining.
grateful for partners like Clearwater Capital Foundation. We could not serve the families we serve without partners like you. So thanks.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank
Go enjoy
you.
the shows.
Thank
Look
you.
at the cars. Look at the cars.
Thank you.
Take care. Now joining me is Nick Ehardt from Bridge Youth and Family Services. Nick, welcome. Bridge Youth and Family Services, great organization, has been with us for 5 years. Last year, Chris, the executive director, had stopped by and had a conversation. So I'm thrilled to have you here in a different voice, talking about it. Can you share with listeners maybe that didn't hear Chris from last year, what's Bridge about? And also share a little bit about your role with the organization.
Yeah, of course. So the Bridge, we offer mental health services for youth and their families in our community. So we do counseling, therapy services, family stabilization services, which is like the crisis piece, to work with youth that have run away, who have been locked out in substance use. We also have a mentoring program that pairs youth one-on-one with our mentors, 11 to 17 years old. And we're offering new services now. We just started the coordinated care team with Schaumburg Township.
Okay.
So we have professionals there kind of guiding youth and families along the side in the Schaumburg area. So just overall, just really providing mental health services to the community, focusing on youth and the family piece. And my role at the Bridge is I'm the digital marketing manager. So I spend a lot of the time working on the stories, the content, the language of the Bridge, and just kind of promoting what we do, who we are, and the impact we have in the community.
So it's located, some of the towns you mentioned are here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. And so with digital marketing then, for an organization like this, is it focused on maybe the kids that are in need of support, families, or donors and contributors to what's happening in the community?
Yeah, it's all that you mentioned. We really focus on the kids. We want to obviously promote our services, get them involved, and just have the easiest and just best way possible to provide the services for the kids. And also targeting parents, let's say like on social media, on our website, just kind of providing what we have service-wise and getting them involved and see how we can help the youth, but also just the family as a whole. And then like you said, our donors, we have our emeritus board, our board of directors. We're always just looking for volunteers and donors who can get involved, spread the word, and just help us continue providing services to the community.
So when you tell stories, right? I mean, a bit of the digital marketing aspect, right? Some of your job is telling the stories.
Right.
What stories have you been most impacted by that you've learned about that have touched you personally?
Yeah, so with COVID, we see a big increase in mental health services needed after the pandemic. And just like, I remember getting different testimonials and stories and just kind of creating campaigns around that youth, even like in the elementary school age, needing these mental health services. Being so young, you would think like, they're kind of like the innocence, not really having to worry about their mental health, just being a kid, but we see just like the levels of anxiety and stress, especially at a young age now. So that kind of just like really hits it home. Just like, I think people think of mental health as just kind of like you take on as you grow older and things like that, but it's really affecting our youth. So it's just, it's had a big impact
at
on
a younger and younger age too.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and when you look at the numbers, how many individuals are being served? What is the number of families? I mean, if you were to quantify that, like, how would you put some numbers behind it in terms of the impact that Bridge is having?
Yeah, so each year we've seen a good growth increase in the amount of hours and clients we see. So I know direct clients, so like the therapy, mentoring, family stabilization programs for the youth specific, we're seeing about 500 plus youth every year, which is then about 1,000 families as a whole impacted.
Okay.
And then direct service hours, so all the time we spent with the youth and families in these programs, it's a good like 5,000 plus hours just directly with the family.
Now, some numbers I recall from what Chris shared last year was that $10,000 supports like 15 families. That was like the ratio that she gave.
Right.
Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah.
And then she said, and from that, 15 families affected, saved that way, or the $10,000 supporting 15 families through Bridge, that saves the state of Illinois about $150,000.
Correct.
Right? So when I was going through that math, when I was looking at that and being like, okay, 15 families, right, or $10,000 supported is $150,000. That's a 15x return, right? So when people look at like investment aspects and what they're putting their money towards and how they're having an impact on the world around them, basically you're saying to the taxpayers of Illinois, right, Bridge Youth and Family Services has a 15 times return, a dollar going to the charitable organization Bridge versus going to the state of Illinois in taxes.
Right. Yeah.
15 times. If we look at any investment, we had a 15 times return, right, in a period of time. That's enormous, and that's happening every year. That's an annual number, a 15 times return on an annual number. So for individuals, you know, and within the state of Illinois, looking at their taxes and looking at the cost of living here and wanting to make a difference in young people's lives, right, the Bridge is a great investment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And so share a little bit more to those out there that might be thinking, yeah, if I could, you know, do I pay $10,000 in taxes? Do I go to charity and help Bridge in what they're doing? How would you articulate that of going, this is what somebody investing in what Bridge is doing is getting in return?
Right, yeah. So obviously, like I said, we're seeing a big increase in our clients and our direct service hours. So I know Chris at the Bridge, like you mentioned, we're really expanding our team. So we're just growing more and more counselors, therapists, and on the family stabilization team to just reach more, get into the schools and everything. So those dollars helps us expand our team, help us get into the schools, also supports our mentoring program. We have a lot of mentoring outings for these kids who might not usually have access to do things outside of the home. So a lot of these dollars helps us build that program out, provide activities at the Bridge in the community, and just overall just gives them that support. So yeah, just on like growing as a team, growing our services, reaching more and more kids out there. And then I know Chris's big plan is to build a whole new building, expand, just be in the Bridge outside of the township, and just be able to hold all our counselors and just grow our team as much as we can and just have better access to care that way. So that's a long-term goal, but yeah, that's something we're looking at.
Well, we look forward to the continuing partnership here with Bridge. I know Greg Davis on our team is on the board of Bridge, has for a long time. We want to continue that long-term relationship. Give listeners one glimpse, and I'll let you get back to seeing the cars. When you think about this event in particular, in the chatter around the office, for lack of a better term, right?
Right.
What's the talk about when it comes to the Clearwater Supercar Show to benefit Bridge?
Yeah, of course. I mean, our staff is always excited around this time of year. It's a big event for us. We're a lot of car people at the office, and yeah, just the impact it makes that we have. I know we received a big donation last year, and all the money raised, and I can't put in words how much it does help us and how much it really goes to our services and the amount of impact it has on these kids in our community. And Chris always has the quote of we're the strongest as our weakest members, so just kind of like lifting each other up and having this event and having everyone here support us is huge, and I can't thank you and Greg and Clearwater enough for this opportunity.
Oh no, our pleasure. And I keep going back to $10,000 is 15 families served,
right,
and saves the state of Illinois $150,000 a year in the math. Not my math, coming from the experts and going through it, and that's an enormous return on investment. Keep up the great work. Hopefully this continues to get the word out for Bridge, and we're just thankful for the opportunity to serve and change lives in this way through what Bridge Youth and Family Services is doing too.
Yeah, of course, and thank you again so much for the opportunity and having us and really making a big impact in our community.
Terrific. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Nick Ehardt, Bridge Youth and Family Services. Terrific. So we've had conversations now with all three of the charitable beneficiaries of the Charitable Car Show, and we're going to want to bring in now some of the sponsors that have stepped up and contributed to make a difference like that, right? That are the dollars coming behind the organizations to change the lives of all of these people that we've already spoken with too. So next up, let's go into the sponsors. Kyle, welcome back. So for listeners, this is Kyle Sulkar, long-term friend of the car show, sponsor, being here, bringing cars out, participating, engaging. Listeners that were on last year also heard you speak a little bit about Sulkar Media and your mathematical approach to media and advertising.
Absolutely.
So any quick update on Sulkar Media, and then we're going to talk about CPX.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for having us. It's a great turnout as
Another
always.
beautiful day.
A beautiful day, beautiful weather. Sulkar Media, has been around for about 15 years now, and that's kind of my baby. That's our advertising agency that runs everything and anything and everything that we do. And updates on that are, we're kind of diverging into a lot of different industries, realizing that everything is pretty similar if you kind of dial back to that mathematical approach. So big in the medical space, we work with everything from plastic surgeons to med spas to dealerships, kind of everything in between, to wealth management firms potentially as well. So super happy about that, and just keeping it going. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, and last year you also we talked about the difference between an automatic and a stick. I'm not going to bore listeners with that. This go around with it too.
Yeah.
But you brought some cars over as well.
Correct. Yeah, I did.
So what'd you bring this year?
I brought my 458 Italia Ferrari and then 911 GT3.
Very nice.
Very different spectrums, but both fun cars.
Very nice. A lot of fun with the cars themselves.
Absolutely.
But it's also the business, right?
Yeah.
The cars are the byproduct, the result of all of the hard work.
Of course.
And so this year coming in, CPX is the lead sponsor working with us, coming into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the CPX journey then too.
Absolutely.
What is CPX? How did you start it, the ideas, and we'll just kind of unpack the business a little bit.
100%. So everything stems from Sulkar Media, and I've been heavy in e-commerce since 2017. It was kind of an ability for Sulkar Media to build brands and products that other people could see and kind of get an idea of, like, this is how we'd run advertising for your business. And CPX is no different. CPX was started a few years ago, really on the premise of building a better pickleball paddle for a more mid-market price point, because I walked into a sporting goods store and I was like, wait a second, like, this doesn't make any sense. People are new and getting into the sport, and there's either really cheap, inexpensive paddles that you're going to throw away after using once or upgrade, and then the other paddles are just ridiculously expensive. So I was like, I know there's something we can build that's better, even for myself and friends and family. And it was really just slow growth. Our team at Sulkar Media working on it for a long time to kind of get it to where it could breathe. And we're really excited to be able to have grown over. We sell everything from balls to the highest levels of paddles to beginner level paddles and kind of everything in between, making it easy and fun for individuals to get into pickleball. We're right here in Chicago. Everything's based out of Chicago. We ship the fastest. We have 24/7 customer service, and we just keep innovating on the product every day.
Yeah. And so are you distributing now as a product? Is it U.S.-centric? Is it going outside the U.S. internationally?
Yeah, so a lot of U.S.-centric, but we're going everywhere from Canada to Mexico to the Philippines to Japan and everywhere in between. Nowadays, obviously, shipping to different countries can get testy, but that's what my job is, to make sure every day that we can get customers their stuff as fast as possible.
But in pickleball, the growth of pickleball, just as a sport.
Absolutely.
What are the numbers on that? I mean, you're a number math guy when it comes to the marketing
absolutely.
side of it, right?
I think at the beginning, I like anything with a little bit of a tailwind, and there was a nice tailwind 3 years ago. That wasn't really the reason I started it, but it definitely helps. You should never fight against a tailwind, right? I sell Facebook ads, not newspaper ads, right? So there's a difference there, and I think pickleball is the #1 fastest growing sport. What I really like about pickleball, I like to use my own instincts when building anything, and it's really how you feel, right? I'm not the most athletic person on the planet, but I played tennis and stuff before. It's really hard to have fun right away. And pickleball, I say, you can take out people who've never played. They can hit the ball over the net, and they get a little rush right away. Say you play 1 or 2 times, and you're hooked. And right away, I'm like, okay, this makes some sense. And I always look at the staying power of a business. And, anything could always happen. USAPA approvals change as USA Pickleball Association. Different courts might shut down. You never know. But at the same time, I think the odds are stacked towards the sport growing, younger people getting into the sport, kind of these preconceived notions about the sport going away, that it's, it's old game for old people who don't, are geriatric. And I think people are slowly kind of getting rid of that. It's starting to become a little cooler than it once was, which we love, obviously.
Yeah, when they got the growth of the overall market, right?
Absolutely.
And then so your growth then, has been what? Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been growing pretty steadily. I like to be consistent with it. We had some pickleball. I call it the Wild Wild West. So over the last few years, we've had different legal things we've dealt with and stuff like that, and kind of just, I'm a little guy in a big pond trying to compete with these different people. So we've been growing solidly year over year. We try and keep it consistent between all of our different sales channels and stuff like that. We try and aim to at least be beating out the last year by 20% or 30% if we can, which is great for us. We're happy about it. But like I said at the beginning, slow growth is my jam. I've built a lot of fast companies, and I've learned a lot of reasons you don't do that because it's easy to blow up in your face. So slow growth and building products and a team that is hard to compete with. But also staying lean enough to be able to afford competing with, the big dogs out there.
There's a lot of companies that would not look at 20 to 30% growth and say that's slow growth.
Right? For sure.
That's huge. But
100%.
the discipline you bring to it. I think the discipline you bring to Sulkar Media, right, and the mathematical aspect of the return on investment. It's not just throwing ads out there. It's not just throwing things out that don't work. It's
100%.
like what's truly the return on investment, and then having the discipline of the organic growth. That's the built to last. There's so many books that have been written on it, but it's hard to actually live it out and maintain the discipline
100%.
so you can fulfill the way you want it to fulfill.
100%. And, I feel like after a while, I've taken hundreds and hundreds of client meetings for Sulkar Media and, selling advertising services, creative content is my background. And it's kind of like beating my head against the wall sometimes because I know what a company needs, right? And I know there's a baseline. You always have referrals. You maybe have walk-in traffic, family, friends, whatever. We'll use wealth management as an example, but scaling a business outside of that, it's like, what can you do to create that mathematical approach if you're willing to invest in advertising? And that's the reason I really like e-commerce for clients, to show them, CPX is nothing, if nothing else, it was really a brand just built to say, hey, this is how we would build a company. And obviously they're not identical businesses, not by any means, but it's kind of letting individuals understand, hey, there is a big investment into the return on investment. There's a big investment up front to be able to acquire customers. But that's the name of the game. And that's how you get people in your ecosystem. And as long as you have that product, so if you reverse engineer, got great product, great customer service, great shipping, everything else, and then you throw in a nice little tailwind, I think those things all help. And I love being able to use it as an example for clients rather than being like, please, I promise you it'll work. But it's always like meeting, and then it starts working, and then it's a light bulb, like, oh my God, why didn't we do this earlier? So it's nice to be able to be up front, like, I have a pretty relatively good understanding of how this is going to work. Let's just figure out a way to make it work for you.
So in the category of free advice, what's the next tailwind you're looking at? What else is coming? What are mega trends that you're seeing that people should be paying attention to?
I think, pickleball is it's very saturated now. And it's really one of those things where the competition is fierce. I think it's always important to look at what is the next best niche or product. I like service-based businesses because they're way leaner. I equate e-commerce and stuff to musical chairs. Like, the person who gets stuck with the inventory lasts if there's no market for it anymore. It's not ideal. But big trends, I think, that are pretty glaringly obvious is like TikTok Shop, for example. TikTok Shop is like the new Amazon. Everyone's on TikTok. My mom, brothers, everyone in all ages on TikTok. So I think creating an understanding of something before it becomes, kind of commoditized is really the wave. And TikTok Shop, for example, if you can find a product in a niche that would really work there, lower ticket product that you can build organic content around, costs a lot less money than traditional advertising, be it Meta and stuff like that. And it's kind of a sweat equity game, which I really like. And the interesting thing why I call it Amazon is Amazon used to be known for selling cheap products, right? I used to be an eBay kid. I used to buy and sell stuff when I was young, and I never touched Amazon. Amazon was for books, but now look at it, right? People got used to it. They got their edge with the Prime shipping, and they created the distribution, and that was incredible. And I think with TikTok, it's no different. People are slowly starting to trust it more, slowly starting to sell better products. And that's one of those things where you can kind of grow with the platform. That's one trend where I think is absolutely fantastic. I think, all things fitness, we're trying to get off the phones as much as possible. All things anti-phone, fitness, being outside. There's so many different little weird trends out there. I really love the idea, 13 to 16-year-olds. I feel like fitness is bigger than it's ever been. So I think stuff like that is awesome. But yeah, it's always interesting to see, what's coming up. Different supplements, like beef tallow is a huge one that's, really coming into light. Colostrum, things like that. Those supplements that you can build a really cool brand around. And it's stuff that people weren't doing. 10 years ago, people weren't putting beef tallow on their face for sunscreen, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like you make a sunscreen with beef tallow and it'll kill it because people are going more towards the, additive-free kind of like no seed oil life. So it's cool to see that wave.
So if people want to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so for CPX, it's cpxpickleball.com or cpxpb.com. Sulkar Media, it's sulkarmedia.com, SULKR Media, media.com, and then Kyle Sulkar on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff.
Yeah, I love your energy, Kyle. I love
too nice.
for the business, for this, the relationship you have with us, multifaceted aspects of it too. I could keep this conversation going on too. Maybe we'll have to figure out another extended time that we sit down and talk through it too.
Yeah.
But I want to express my thanks for your sponsorship, your friendship with Clearwater, being here, and I'll let you go back because I think you built a pickleball court.
We got the court
back going out there too. So
sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good seeing you, Kyle.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
So Cesar Marin, welcome back. We had this conversation last year. Yeah, wind continues to pick up here.
It's good. It's helping.
Yeah, the breeze, exactly. Just to keep the heat off of us. From Perillo Motors. So for those not familiar, and I'm not sure who listening to this edition is not familiar with Perillo, but why don't you share with
I would be quite shocked if they don't know who Perillo is.
Exactly. They need to know. So
I'll let you know who they are.
Who's Perillo?
Perillo Auto Group. We're celebrating 50 years. 50 years this year.
Okay, we'll get the head back with Perillo on.
Hey, Andy, you want to grab my hat?
There we go.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
All right, see, that's what Perillo does. It just blows you away. So, we're celebrating 50 years this year, which is a very successful story. But, based out of Chicago and Downers Grove, 7 brands. He loves giving back to the community.
Yeah. And so what are the brands? What are the?
We have Alfa Romeo, Maserati, BMW, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti, and Rolls Royce.
Right. So if anybody's in the market for one of those, they need to give you a call.
Or any other make and model. We do sell used cars.
Yeah, and they can find it online. Is it what's the website?
You can go to joeperillo.com. JoePerillo.com.
And you, representing Perillo Auto Group,
correct,
have been here personally.
Yes.
Have represented Perillo Auto Group in supporting, sponsoring, being here, bringing cars over, but giving back to the community and making an impact through the end charities that are out there too. So one, thank you to the whole Perillo Group and the ownership and family, because coming alongside in partnership. For us to have we love our relationships to be long-term in nature from families that we serve within wealth management, but coming alongside each other too, and how we approach things like this and giving back to the community.
Right, no, definitely.
Why, but why for you and why for Perillo is it important to be part of this Clearwater Capital Supercar Show?
Aside from the charities that we're donating to, it's it's for the. I always say this every year. It's for the kids. That's why I enjoy coming in here. You see how the kids line up. And now more because it's a 5th year, which congrats to you guys. You see how the kids line up and just their faces, their reactions to these cars. I came here in the Rolls Royce Spectre, black badge, and everybody's like, that's a very cool car. So that reaction to these kids, it's amazing because we don't know what these kids are going to grow up to be.
Yeah.
Look at James.
Right.
I got a picture of James that I wanted to show. If there's a way to zoom in here.
Well, we'll have to. And we'll have to get this picture to actually then post it online too.
You have to, because this is why we do it. Because kids grow up. They grow up and they become. Well, I'll show the picture, but they become something, and even at his age.
Yeah.
I remember him when he was a lot younger. So this is why we do it, And James got lucky and works hard.
Yeah.
So these kids got to work hard, and one day you're going to be able to buy any kind of car you like.
Well, and it's the hard work, and that's what a lot of people don't see. They see the car, but they don't see the hard work that goes behind it in order to get that car, right? And and that's got all its own social issues that are out there too for people. But these are big boy and big girl, toys.
Yes.
In the scheme of things.
Expensive toys.
They're amazing machines, right? In terms of the quality, the representation, and you think about that across the brand. the brand badges that you end up representing within Perillo Group too. So as you look at those, you could end up being in the car business, so to speak. Why the brands that you represent too? I mean, why have the Rolls Royce and the Maseratis and the Lamborghinis?
You know, the ball started as a Cadillac salesman, then opened up a Pontiac dealership, and then had the opportunity to get BMW. BMW is his core brand. BMW was able to acquire and establish the Rolls Royce, the Bentley, and he always says this: it's not a car that you need. You don't need a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini, or just a car that you want. And for us, that's kind of cool to be able to deliver that to a customer.
Yeah. Well, and I always share with people, because I call it a passion assets, right? Passion assets are part of individuals' overall balance sheets. For some people it's cars, for some people it's watches.
Right.
For some people it is jewelry and diamonds or whatever, right? For some people it could be shoes, right? I mean, you go down this range
or an art
of
piece. There's a lot of more expensive art pieces than cars.
Absolutely, right? I mean, my wife's an artist by trade, right? Art can be unbelievable in terms of, but you have to die first to enjoy, to enjoy it and realize the value. So it is amazing. But people that are into cars, why do you think there's so many individuals that just have this passion for cars?
Well, tax savings and the status quo.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're fun cars to drive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a fun car to drive, and I think a lot of these individuals who have these cars, they have kids.
Yeah.
So they want to show their kids, hey, anything is possible. Look at the car that we can get, and the kids have fun with it too.
Well, and for the kids that may never be able to afford, for whatever reason, right? Never be able to afford, for them to come out to this show and be able to sit in it. This is what I love about the people that bring their cars over.
Right.
Well, it's like open the door, right? Take a look inside.
Go inside.
Get
That's
in,
our
sit
favorite
out,
thing
right?
to do,
I mean,
especially for the kids.
And especially for the kids.
Especially
right?
for the kids, yeah.
And having them and their eyes light up and see that, and whether they ever own one, right? But they admire it, they enjoy. It's a thrill of life that they're taking. That they're getting a picture in it, that they're seeing it, walking. And I got a lot of friends that are over here today that are really big kids, right? And really old kids too, that have the same. They still have that same.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old or
55 or 65. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Their eyes just light up when they see it. There is something about, there's something about Americans and Americans' love affair too with cars that goes way back in time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But Perillo Auto Group, you've been here though, with the commitment, alongside sponsoring, giving back. There's the end charities, there's for the kids giving back, but the long-term nature of it, the coming back every year. How important is it to be part of this? Maybe from the business side, from the giving back. I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. How would you describe it?
Well, we have our own. We have the Perillo Charitable Foundation. So for us and for the owners, it means a lot to give back. Not a lot of times do we promote when we give back, just because it's not a publicity stunt. We do it because we deeply in our hearts believe that following a good group of individuals like yourselves, the charities that you guys have been bringing, it's the same charities every for the last 5 years. Yeah. You never changed it, so that means a lot to us because you guys truly care, and it's not for the public eye. We do it because we truly mean it, and eventually it's helping kids, it's helping families, and hopefully people get to see that.
Yeah, well, it's that long-standing relationship, right?
Correct.
With the end charities that we're serving, but coming alongside one another. Call it brand affinity, right? We want to do this also with people we like, right? That we have fun with, that we also enjoy, and what that means, because it says something about us. Hopefully it says something about you all, that we're partnering up together to go make a difference in the world for individuals, and the impact that leaves, and doing it on a long-standing basis.
We got to start somewhere.
And it's little things, right? And we were chatting about it right before we even started, with the live mic too, in terms of going through this. The world's a hard place out there. There's individuals, listeners that heard from the charities earlier, but even just that, being nicer, right? Being kinder. I mean,
you have to. I mean, kids, if you're listening, please, you got to be kind. The world is not perfect. Nobody is either.
Yeah.
Stay off social media. The stuff you see on social media is not always what it seems to be.
Except listening to my podcast.
You better listen to this podcast.
Right. And develop your business skills, develop your entrepreneurial spirit.
And make sure you like it and share it.
Yeah. And work hard, right, to go do this.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff that is out there that is unhealthy. I go back to one of the charitable beneficiaries talking about youth and anxiety and stress.
Yeah, that's tough.
And they're like, yeah, social media just contributes to that.
It's out
There's
there.
good. There can be good that come out of it, but
Right.
there's a dark side to it too.
There is.
So listeners, kids, you heard it from Cesar.
Heard
Be nice to each other. Life's hard out there, no matter what kind of car you're driving.
Doesn't matter.
Be nice, be kind, make a difference in the world. Thanks to the Perillo Group.
Thank
Cesar,
you.
Thank you again for being here.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Terrific,
Thank
terrific. Enjoy. Sell a few cars too.
What I'm gonna go
Get a few upgrades. Go get them. Go get them. Take
See you
care.
guys.
All right, next up, we've got a new sponsor to the car show. Yes, it's our 5th. Yes, we've been talking about long-term support of the charitable organizations and the long-term sponsors that we've had in place. But that doesn't mean there's not a bigger tent and more room on the boat to invite more individuals in to make a difference for the world, the end beneficiaries that are there. And sometimes when we're engaged, as we've spoken about, there's different groups, there's different businesses. Brand affinity to us is a big deal in terms of how we make a difference in the world and who we do that with, who we serve as clients, but also who we partner with in business and also partner with in charity. So I'm thrilled now to have the time with Bluestone Advisors to welcome them as first time sponsors, first time at the car show. There's a lot to go through, as we talked about in our teaser here too. So instead of me doing the introduction of Bluestone and yourselves, why don't you hit on that? What's Bluestone about yourselves? And then we'll get into a little bit more of why this makes sense for you.
That sounds great. And
Thanks.
what a beautiful day for this event to happen. And we're very grateful to be part of the event. So thank you for inviting Bluestone to be a sponsor of the Best in Show this year.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of similarities with brand and values between Clearwater Capital Foundation, Clearwater Capital Partners, and Bluestone Advisors. So we couldn't be more thrilled with the opportunity to be here today. So a little bit about Bluestone Advisors. We're a commercial insurance brokerage and private client brokerage. We're out of Chicago, and we've been in business for over 13 years now. And Tracie and I are the co-founders. I'm the CEO. And a lot of the employees at Bluestone Advisors have come from the large brokerage environment where they want to really deploy their expertise on more of a boutique platform and focus on relationships and bring their expertise to our clients with for them to move forward with clarity and confidence that their insurance is covered by competent individuals at Bluestone. So
right.
There's Tracie.
And we'll come back to the personal side of it too. How long ago your personal involvement? I mean, you founded it together.
We founded it together in 2012.
2012. Okay, I think I missed that then too.
Yes.
In the piece of it.
Yes.
So 13. So you're celebrating anniversary
That's
here
right.
too in
That's
terms
right.
of being involved in business, coming from big commercial. So Tracie, go ahead. I cut you off there.
No, that's okay. Tracie Rasmussen. I'm CFO. We started the company 12 years ago and love being here.
Wait, and so the involvement. So you're talking about breaking away from like big insurance, for lack of a better term.
Sure.
But giving listeners a little bit of the scope. So I mean, are you in Chicago, but is it only Illinois? Because of the way licensing works with insurance too.
No.
How does that work? Are you captive to a carrier?
Sure.
Are you open architecture in the carriers? How do you think about
It's
that?
definitely open architecture. We over 20 years of doing insurance for the large corporate, brokerage firms out there. And the reason we started Bluestone was really we found a void and a gap for privately held businesses and the middle market companies where they require expertise. But what we found is with with all the mergers and acquisitions happening in the insurance brokerage space, that became more of a transactional approach to the brokerage. And we felt that the relationships, it's all based on trust. Our clients, will hire us to trust that we're doing the right thing for them and that their assets are covered properly. So we founded Bluestone, like I said, over 12, 13 years ago. And it's been wonderful, built on that platform to service the middle market folks that want the expertise from a large brokerage firm, but also value their relationships that come with being boutique.
Okay, and across Illinois or business owners?
Yeah, we're licensed in over 30 states, so a lot of our relationships originate from Illinois, but we've got clients from California to Florida as well.
We'll talk about two challenging states to do insurance in, right? And it's like, I don't think it gets any harder than those two. Except maybe throw New York in there or something
And
too.
New
right?
York and Texas, yeah, you can throw them all in there.
Yeah, exactly. So when you were talking about just learning more about Clearwater Capital and this over this last year, from last year's car show to this year's car show, and learning more, what have you discovered about us, right? And I'm not. This isn't a commercial for us, right? But what have you discovered about us that you said, yeah, this is a group we actually want to team up with?
We had lunch with John and Katie 6 months ago, maybe.
Correct.
I met Katie through the SBA, and just very, very similar cultures, very similar values, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to refer each other business.
Yeah.
On the insurance side, and then
because of the value
business-
side of it, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because of that relationship side of why you get out of a transactional insurance brokerage into founding Bluestone to begin with. And then when you look around and go, yeah, but it's not just insurance, right? You get into all other aspects of wealth management. We talk about it from a family office services side that I'm the managing partner of. But there's 12 different service offerings that we look at, right? The investment and asset management, estate and wealth transfer, but risk management services.
Correct.
Right? And this is the thing, it's risk management services. It's not insurance sales, right?
No.
Because no one likes paying an insurance premium,
No.
right? We just we all know that you hate paying your insurance premiums too, right?
We're the same
No
boat.
one likes it, but for risk management, because it's all about risk management. If you want to achieve whatever it is you want to do, right? Could you imagine everybody driving these cars out here and not having them covered?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You would look at that and be like, that's insane.
That's
so you've
insane.
got to have the tool,
do.
but you have to have it in the right way, but also in the trusting relationship.
You do.
too.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's just been so much consolidation in the industry. Like the number of independent brokerages, I mean, there were 10,000 purchased in the last 10 years across the country.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
And,
That one's going
you
away
know,
then,
This
too.
year we've really focused on growing our private client practice group as well. So the three verticals at Bluestone Advisors is commercial insurance and risk management, employee benefit consulting, which is your medical insurance, vision, dental, and also private client for the affluent and the high net worth.
Okay.
That value
insuring cars like
insuring cars like
Right.
this.
Just right.
Yeah, insuring a car like this, where they can't go to the local corner insurance store to get their insurance. They need some very sophisticated coverage.
Yeah.
And likely, a lot of the owners have multiple cars.
Yeah.
And they're not just in Illinois.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
They're in, Michigan. They're out in California.
Florida.
They're in
They're
Florida.
moving them back and forth.
And they're moving them back and forth.
Yeah.
Correct.
Ship the car back. I'll fly the jet back. I'll do this. That's right.
Yeah.
Put it in that garage. Exactly.
Yeah, and this year, Bluestone Advisors made Cornerstone, which is the top 1% brokerage firms in the country, with one of our carrier partners, Chubb, which is
High net worth carrier.
carrier
Yeah.
for cars like this.
Yeah. Well, and so the philanthropic piece,
Mm-hmm.
right? The charitable piece then in giving back.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does it mean to you individually? What does it mean to you as an organization then to step up and sponsor, knowing that every dollar of your sponsorship is going to the beneficiaries, right?
Yes.
Back to we underwrite all the cost of everything. So your sponsorship coming alongside is really given to the end charities and lending your name and your relationships to the success of the event. Why is that important?
Just giving back to the community, and I feel like the foundation that Clearwater has created is amazing. I really look up to. I would love to do the same. We would love to do the same.
Yeah. No, and I think there's a lot of different organizations that do charity events. This really brings together the car enthusiasts. There's families here. We can all reflect back to when we were young kids, wanting the Lamborghinis, and they're here, and you can see the families.
Matchbox cars.
The Matchbox cars. And you can see the families, here, and what that means, for the fathers bringing their sons and the families as well.
Yeah.
So I think what a unique and event and way to bring awareness to the organizations and the charities that we're supporting with businesses and the impact that we can drive impact and change with these organizations. And it's a wonderful way to do that through the Supercar Show.
We getting to know John and Katie, right? I'm sure you've heard from us multiple times. We talk about character and competency, right? Of our team members we're hiring, frankly, the families we're serving, right? I mean, if they're a poor character, we don't want them.
Right.
Don't want them as clients.
That's
right. We're not going to serve everybody, so if we have an opportunity to select and focus on that, the high character side, and also then the business partnerships and the relationships. And we do think, right? When I was back in my GE corporate days, the CEO, Jeff Immelt, my second tour of duty, Jack Welch and Jeff Immelt. Under Jeff Immelt, one of the things Jeff always said was, to be a great company, you got to be a good company. And at first, on the surface, you're like, what does that mean, right? And I think it's exactly that, right? To be great, highly technical, competent, everything, but you got to be of high character. You got to be good, right? You got to be giving back. You got to be a good corporate citizen too.
You do.
And in a way to do that where it does bring people together that can see cars that may never be able to own a car like this.
Right.
The people that own the cars are having fun getting together in terms of talking Shark Hop and how they're approaching it. And the life change that's happening as a result of having a nice, beautiful Saturday morning. When I listened to the charities, when I was talking to them earlier and hearing the impact and the difference that's made in their lives, right? I encourage everyone to go back and listen to the charitable stories, because the impact that this show is making through individuals like you stepping in and sponsoring and say, we want to make a difference too. It's not just a check going out the door. The way we look at the long-term relationship with the charities, the life change from individuals that were just sitting at these microphones a short time ago is enormous. It's humbling. And to be able to do that and enjoy it, it's like you can do all of this in ways and not have it relied on taxes being paid.
Right.
And it really, it talks to the culture, the character and competence at Clearwater Capital Partners as well. And I know you were named, again, the greatest place to work in your industry. And I'm happy to announce that we were named that just last week. Actually,
Congratulations.
Just this week
Congratulations.
as well.
Yeah.
But that's what our employees want. They want an organization that does, where they get to work with others of high moral character and competence as well. Yeah. And they want to be part of an organization that gives back.
Yeah.
To the
It's
community.
missional minded in terms of what it's doing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
They want to be impactful
and
intentional with where they're spending their time at the organization, such as Clearwater Capital Partners and Bluestone Advisors. So it's just a great testament to the culture that you've developed along the way.
And we think it's just good business too, right?
Yeah. It's good business.
It's just good business.
It is.
That's right.
Right? And if people are like, the do-gooders, right? Or the naysayers or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, why else would you want to do business any other way, right? You don't have to tell me. Our team that's out here giving up their Saturday morning and volunteer, we didn't twist anybody's arm.
No.
In terms of what they did, and if there is a family conflict or something like that, good, go live life.
That's right.
But what better way to spend the time and to do it with the two of you, your organization, your team, when we're sitting at the boardroom table with families, right? When we're out here having fun to do it. Thank you for stepping into the first year of doing this.
Yes.
And we look forward to many more years to come too.
Yes.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you both.
John.
No, thank you both. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Tracie. Take care. Enjoy before all the cars are gone.
great.
Yeah.
Go keep shopping. Keep shopping. All right, listeners, I'm delighted to have Sandy Schwab. So the first piece of disclaimer that's on this is not Schwab, who's our primary custodian for investment assets. This is Sandy Schwab, Haute Explorer. Sandy has made various people that I know's dreams come true through travel experiences. Sandy and her organization, Haute Explorer, well, you're going to hear more, and I'm going to let Sandy introduce Haute Explorer to you, but I'm going to come back with a few tidbits and testimonials from clients that have had experience through Sandy. So Sandy, Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a sponsor of the show.
Absolute, my pleasure.
And contributing to trips. Tell listeners about Haute Explorer.
Well, Haute Explorer, we are a luxury lifestyle and travel agency. So we not only do travel, but we also do lifestyle. So if you want to, maybe you need someone to manage your homes. If you have a home and you need an estate manager, we can help you find an estate manager. Or if you just want me to buy tickets to a show, we do tickets to a show. So that includes lifestyle. We cover the globe. And one of our sayings is that we're here to help you get lost.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So even if you know where you want to go, we're here to assist. And if you don't know where you want to go, we're here to assist you.
And so online, how would people find the website?
You can find us at www.hauteexplore.com. And Haute Explorer is HAUTEXPLORE.com.
Okay, and there they got contact information. They can reach out to you directly.
Everything, yes.
And the starting is just, hey, here's what we're thinking. Here's what we're thinking about a trip, a location, a destination, and to explore that. And then, so I'm going to start with a testimonial first, because a couple years ago, you had donated trips for the auction, which we had, again, this year we have one with Italy, Southern Italy and Lecce, and then one in Thailand.
Correct.
So thank you for the contributions, the donations
pleasure.
of those
We're
trips.
happy to donate to a great cause.
Oh gosh, and the fact that the dollars go to the end charities in that way, but the experiences last a lifetime. So that's where I'm going to share a little bit of story, and I got permission from the clients to share a bit of their story, because a couple years ago they weren't able to be here for the car show because they live down in Naples, Florida.
Yes.
But they went online, found the website in terms of being able to bid for the auction,
Yes.
and ended up being the winning bid on the auction. So again, the dollar is going to the end charity.
Yes.
The trip that they ended up bidding on and winning was a trip to the Maldives that you had donated.
Yes.
Then they contacted you and said, okay, now we need to work through the details of our trip to the Maldives.
Yes.
That trip to the Maldives then expanded from, I don't know if it was originally 5 nights, 6 days, or something like that. It expanded into something much larger. You know the rest of the story.
Yes.
Share the rest of the story of how your conversation with them expanded.
Well, the trip began the price that we donate was 6 nights, 7 days in an overwater suite in the Maldives. They decided we're going this far, we might as well expand upon it, and they decided to add on New Zealand and Australia. Amazing. So we were able to do some really incredible things for them. And I mean, like you said, make dreams come true.
Yeah.
Because it's a once in a lifetime trip. Not often are you going to go back to New Zealand or to Australia because it's kind of far.
Right.
So
and expanded. It was over
yes.
3 weeks, I think.
Exactly.
Over 3
so we
weeks?
had to make it worth their time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Absolutely.
definitely.
Well, and then that would be great in and of itself, right? That would be a nice end to the story if it ended there. But it didn't end there.
It did not.
They subsequently worked with you on 4 more trips.
Yes.
Right? And that's in the last 2 years. They did the Maldives trip
Yes.
coming off of the car show 2 years ago. So now they did 4 more trips with you. And you may not recall this off the top of your head, but do you recall what some of those trips were that you worked?
London, we're working on the UK, and then Edinburgh.
Okay.
So we're doing something there.
Those are
and we
2
have
upcoming
amazing-
trips, right?
These are 2 upcoming trips.
Okay, but they've done
And
4
the-
other ones.
The previous ones now I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot going on. You got a lot going on. And I sprung that on you, so that was unfair.
And so for the Welches, I think we sent them to Italy.
Okay.
And it was of course, all of our trips are personally curated. We don't have package trips. So it typically starts off with a conversation you and I will have. And I ask you, what are your interests, or what do you want to see or do whilst you're traveling? And then I put everything else around that, and then kick it up a bit, and kind of give you VIP experiences, behind the scenes, private tours. If you want to go to a museum, then we have the option of closing the museum for an hour. So it's just you and your curator, or it's just you and your group and a curator.
Wow.
So that makes it all the more experience.
Wow. And we first got it introduced actually through Family Wealth Alliance.
Yes.
And that was probably like 3 or 4 years ago now. And you had contributed some trips to Family Wealth Alliance downtown Chicago here.
Yes.
And one of our team members, Tyler Beechler, actually picked up one of the trips to Bermuda.
Yes.
And so you worked with Tyler and going to that trip to Bermuda.
He did.
And being there. And so we're talking Italy, we're talking New Zealand, the Maldives. There's a few other trips, I think, too. So when people if they're thinking anything globally anywhere, they really should just reach out and say, here's what we're thinking about, and get as creative as possible.
Correct. Even if you want to go to the Kentucky Derby, I can give you stable access for the Kentucky Derby. If you just want to be domestic and do something local, we have great domestic experiences that we're able to create as well.
Okay. And so is it per trip, per project? I mean, how do you actually then organize your fee schedule? Are you on a retainer then with families that wanted to rebook things over and over again?
It depends. It depends on the amount of travel and who's traveling. So if I have a family, say family of 4, mom and dad, with help, staff, you have nannies, you have security, and you have all of these movements, that becomes an annual membership, because those type of families typically move back and forth between homes.
Yeah.
So for that, you would want an annual membership. But other trips are just per trip, and it depends on the complexity of the trip.
Yeah.
To me, just a trip, you ring me up and you say, hey, Sandy, my husband and I want to go to London. That's simple.
Yeah.
I can do that with my eyes closed. That's nothing. But if you say to me, Sandy, you know what? I've been thinking about going to Tibet, and I'd like to maybe, just make it to the first platform of Mount Everest. That's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I can do that as well.
Okay.
So
there you go.
There's nothing that's too great. We don't say no.
Yeah. And so why is it important then to give back charitably? To be here to donate these trips. I mean, you're very busy, right? You have, spending time, the trips, the travel, your relationships with people around the world to gain the access to the very unique locations, destinations, settings, venues. You're very busy in that way, but yet you carve out time. Being here, you contribute these trips. Why is this important to be a part of?
It's important to give back. I think that travel is really, really important. For me, I consider it the great equalizer. The best thing you can do is go to see how the other half lives.
Yeah.
And experiences that you would not normally have in your own backyard.
Yeah.
And plus the charitable aspect is we have to give back. It's the least we can do. I feel I'm privileged, so it's the least we can do.
Yeah. It's when we look at some of the charities that we were speaking to earlier, and the end beneficiaries, the impact that's being made with them.
Yes.
Some of those individuals are, again, there's a huge strata of wealth out there, right? I mean, people that look at some of these cars that will never own a car like this, right? I mean, and life can be hard. Some of the hardships that we talked about with some of the end beneficiaries that are there. And I do absolutely agree with you. I've traveled a lot myself, corporate, personal. Right now we have an internal running family. My son and I both hit 6 continents now.
Oh, fantastic.
Right? So we're joking about how we got to, figure out Antarctica in the mix, right? In order to hit number 7.
Yes.
My one son-in-law has hit over 30 countries himself in his travel. We have grandkids over in England that live over there. So we were over in Europe for 3 weeks earlier this year. My wife spending time with the kids and everything. But travel, being in different places. We spent time in Rwanda and just learning from the genocide, the beautiful nature of the people, but also 100%. Taking that in and getting out to the game reserve and seeing animals while we still can, right, in terms of in the wild.
And quite a few of those conservancies give back to their community.
Yeah.
So that's really, really important.
So traveling, getting out there and having those experiences, and when you can afford, right, quite frankly, I mean, you're talking about insurance earlier, right? Insuring a basic car is different than insuring a Bugatti, right? I mean, it's different.
Correct.
Traveling, people can travel, in different ways.
Yes.
But the travel and the uniqueness of the experiences that you're affording individuals is very distinguished, very exclusive.
Correct.
But I love your heart in saying, there's people that will probably never engage you for a trip, but you're giving back so that their life, there could be a difference that's made.
Absolutely.
And we are so grateful for that.
Our pleasure.
And being committed to this. I mean, being here a few years ago, I know we had the conflict with scheduling last year, really hoping to the future too. And like I said, with the families and the people that we know that you have served, I want all of our clients. I told you this offline too, and so now I'm going to be on the record here with it, right? The level of care that we want to have for the client families that we're serving is a very high expectation we have for ourselves, for our team members, for the professionals that we engage. And when we say that, that's not just attorneys, that's not just risk managers, that's not just bankers. Our expectation also comes into the services that you provide. And when we have the testimonies that come back, if we think about it as a net promoter score, I guess, right, in terms of it, for you and your team and your organization, it's through the roof. And we are so grateful for that care and the experiences you've given to them, and hope for many more into the future together too.
It's
so
our
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Any closing thoughts, words of encouragement, anything that you'd want to share for listeners at this point?
We always say, you make the memories, we manage the moments.
There we go. Terrific. Thank you again so much, Andy. Pleasure to enjoy.
I look forward to seeing you next year.
Absolutely.
We'll do some really great exotic
Well,
things
and hopefully we'll talk
next year.
between now and then too, right?
Yes.
It's terrific. Thank you, Sandy.
Okay. Thank you.
We're going to continue on with the sponsors now, and I'm with Dr. Ardash Shukla from Midwest Pain Clinic. He'll share more about that because as they continue to grow, I want him to share their story. But because they've just opened up new clinics in Indiana, south of Chicago here. They've got multiple sites, so they're experiencing growth. But they've been a sponsor since day one. So we've talked about new sponsors this year coming in, multi-year sponsors. But from day one, ownership and the doctors of Midwest have absolutely been along our side with cars showing up and being here, but also the sponsorship dollars and the seriousness of the way they're approaching it. So Dr. Shukla, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation and being here and representing the whole team and the whole organization. Can you share a little bit more just for listeners to be familiar with the organization itself and what is it that you all do?
Yeah, no problem. And thank you, John, for having us. So our group is called Midwest Anesthesia and Pain Specialists. We've been around now. Last year was our 10-year anniversary. So
Congratulations.
Our 11th year,
Congratulations.
thank you. It was founded by my partner, Daryl Saldana, and we now have a staff of 6 MDs and 8 physician assistants and nurse practitioners.
Okay.
We have about 7 or 8 locations throughout the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area, so
Okay.
that does make us the largest pain management group in the Chicagoland area now.
Okay.
So that's our specialty, pain management.
Okay.
We deal with treating patients who experience pain from a variety of different sources. Neck, back pain are obviously 2 of the most common. Anyone with chronic neck or back pain, or even from sports injuries or auto injuries, work injuries, and then also any other joint issues. People who've had shoulder pain, hip issues, knees, elbows, really any part of the body. If you're experiencing pain, we can treat it.
Okay.
And we use a variety of different therapies and treatments, including the most modern treatment available we have to us. We do injection therapy, we do some regenerative medicine, obviously physical therapy and medications and things like that as well. So we're a pretty comprehensive pain management group.
Well, and when I was speaking with Dr. Saldana last year about it, because a lot of people's reactions, talk about an opioid crisis in the country, a lot of people's initial reactions nowadays are, okay, it's just all about meds and opioids and those things. But that's not the case for you all, right? I mean, so explain the difference so that people get educated here versus what a knee-jerk reaction to pain management is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely not the case with us. Historically in like the 90s, early 2000s, that's kind of what the field of pain management did become. Unfortunately, very heavy on medication management, leading to ultimately the opioid crisis, which we're dealing with now. The flip side of that is once there was more awareness about that, there was a lot more initiatives on the part of medical companies to develop new treatments that were not medication. So interventional treatments, including like different types of injection therapies, different types of like minimally invasive surgeries, and then also just newer medical devices. So there's, right now in the field of pain management, there's so much available to us aside from medications.
Yeah, okay.
And, even obviously the successful pain management practices realize that. And so we are getting away as much as possible from just pushing opioids and meds on patients. We have an arsenal of very effective treatments to us that work really well, and our patients get great results, great improvements in their quality of life.
Yeah.
And rarely do we ever have to resort to opioids or things like that nowadays.
Yeah. I think that's a huge deal, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
Just, unfortunately, I was just even made aware of it yesterday. I mean, some young people that have passed away from overdoses, and some of those things evolve, from the opioid crisis, right, too. So I think it's really important for listeners to understand there are differences, there are alternative approaches to managing your pain. And so thank you for sharing that piece of it too, without getting too technical. Because I'm sure you could go deep technically on yours.
I could have gone on and on, exactly. We've gotten very technical, but I was like, no.
Well,
stop.
but if people want to find you to have that conversation to understand what the alternatives are, how do they find Midwest?
Yeah, so the easiest way would be to go through our website, mwpain.com. Or you could simply Google Midwest Anesthesia and Pain Specialists. It'll take you to our website.
Okay.
That has our phone number, our email address for our schedulers and our scheduling department. It has information about all of our various locations. It has profiles on all of our doctors and our physician assistants and nurse practitioners.
Okay.
So you can see all the providers on there, and you can even go schedule an appointment from that.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, so if anybody is dealing with pain, right, reach out and have that conversation.
Absolutely.
Why then has it been so important for Midwest to be part of this Supercar Charity Show and giving back for the last 5 years now? From day one, you guys have been involved in leading the way.
Yeah, so our founder, Dr. Daryl Saldana, who you mentioned, has a tremendous passion for cars. He's a car collector himself. So, and obviously wanting to also get involved in charitable giving and supporting the charities that CCP supports in this event, it just kind of perfectly aligns. I joined on as a physician and owner in 2021 and also have a passion myself for cars. So the ownership of the group our passions and Clearwater Capital sort of align perfectly.
Great.
And that's why this event really is the perfect way for us to have a lot of fun, demonstrate our passion for cars, and also give back.
Yeah. When it's, and I remind listeners all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we underwrite the cost, so every dollar of your sponsorship is going to the end charities. And for listeners that were here and listening to the end charities and the life change that's taken place, I mean, it's just, life can be hard out there, right? For these
Absolutely.
kids, through the bridge, through pediatric cardiac issues, through a giving heart, through fellowship housing and single mom. I mean, it's just, life can be really hard for a lot of people. And so thank you for from day one and leading the way, and to do it and have fun with it, right? I mean, with the cars, have fun, give back, make a difference in people's lives professionally, but making a difference then also. And it's one thing to do it for 1 year or maybe 2, but you guys have done it for 5 years. So help it, like when you get together and you talk about like this day in the car show, what's the chatter like amongst you and Daryl and others about supporting it?
So Daryl and I will start talking about this event months in advance. This is the one charity event that is essentially a staple on our calendar now every year for the past 5 years. Usually there's 1 or 2 others that we'll support throughout the year, but it varies. It's not always the same event. This one is always on the calendar, like before you guys even advertise the date of it, we're talking about it. We're like, all right, a Clearwater Car Show this year, what are we doing? I'll ask him what cars, because he has a lot more cars than I do. So I just usually end up bringing 1 car. He brings 5 or 6. I'll be like, what car are you bringing? What do we need to do?
Right,
we're all, arranging and meeting up at Daryl's house before and then driving here together.
So fun.
We get very excited about this event.
Yeah. Which is right. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's for a good cause, and on a beautiful Saturday morning like this.
Exactly.
Too.
I can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday morning.
Terrific. Well, thank you. Thank you for the long-term nature of it, the impact, the life change that's happening, but also that partnership and the relationship to make a difference in the way that we do it. Keep growing. So next year we'll talk about the fact that you've added. Because you had the 2 in Indiana, the 2 new offices in Indiana.
So one's in Indiana, So we recently opened 2 new locations. One is in the south suburbs in Illinois, in Frankfort.
Okay.
And that location is huge because it fills a big gap. When you go further and further south out of Chicago, there are huge stretches of area where there's no physicians of any kind, let alone a pain management specialist.
Okay.
So we're really trying to make healthcare more accessible to people down there, in Kankakee and further, who don't have to come drive 3-4 hours to see a pain management specialist.
Gotcha.
So that's our one new location that opened in October of last year. And then the beginning of this year, we opened a location in St. John, Indiana.
Okay.
So again, same thing, Northwest Indiana, there's a lot of need there for people who need pain management and a pain management doctor. So another, great opportunity that fills a need for us. So.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. We'll talk more about cars again next year.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about the growth for what you guys are doing, and wish you great success as you move forward with it too.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
John.
again. No,
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Appreciate it. Thanks
All
again
right.
too. Enjoy. We're sorry for the
Thank
timing wise here too.
That's
Again,
okay. That's okay.
Right towards the, we're right at noon. We're right at noon.
Perfect timing.
Terrific. Have a good one too.
You
Enjoy.
too.
Send Daryl for me too.
Yeah, definitely will. Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue on with sponsors now. We've had long-term sponsors and we've had new sponsors that have come into the mix. This falls into the category of a first-year new sponsor, Modworks. Modworks was funded by Noah and a group of friends that he's got. And I'm going to let him tell the story because he was just getting a bit of energy worked up here. And I had to cut him off. I said, we got to get the camera and the mics going first. So I'm going to let Noah start that, and then we're going to bring in Ahmed, who's actually an investor in Modworks, and he's going to share a little bit of his story of what it means to invest in Modworks, what makes a good investment, and also giving back in the community, and we'll engage in that conversation about the car show too. So gentlemen, welcome to this dialogue, welcome to the car show. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Noah, we're going to start with you and Modworks. What's Modworks about for listeners?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having us, and second of all, Modworks is, the simplest way to describe it is it's a one-stop shop for car enthusiasts to be able to design, buy, build, and share their cars with the community. It starts off by bridging video games and reality a little bit by having an interactive 3D model of whatever car you choose on our website. That you can open the doors, look inside, outside, under the hood, under the car, and get a whole list of all the available parts for this car across 10, 12 different manufacturers. Then you can click and choose between these parts to see which one do I like, how will it affect the power, how much will it cost, will it weigh more, will it weigh less, and just get a full interactive experience similar to those arcade games where you're racing against a couple friends. Next, users will be able to purchase all of their parts from one site, because prior to Modworks, you would have to go to 10 different sites, make 10 different accounts, purchase it, deal with random shipping times. So with us, that's no more. It's all in one platform, no worries, you can buy it in one place.
I'm just going to pause you there for a moment, right? Because you're sharing a lot as we're going through it. So the one-stop shop. I've got to make sure I want to make sure I understand this, right? So I'm going to ask very basic questions as a non-car guy, because you know way more about all this stuff than I do. But it's one-stop shop. You can design online with all of the piece parts, additions, anything you'd want to do on any of the makes, model, series that you have.
From a variety of
manufacturers.
Overseas, in America, everything. So you can just pretty much customize it to your liking. The best way to describe it is similar to like an arcade, where you have the parts, the upgrades, and that's probably the easiest way to describe
the car,
it. Colors,
the wheels, the rims, the tires. Just about anything. You can put a spoiler on it.
And so I don't miss it, right? So is it Modworks?
Yes.
Is that the website too?
The website is modworks.us.
Modworks.us, Modworks.us. They can go on, and when you're on there, it's pretty easy to navigate, I'm assuming.
Well, we haven't fully launched yet. We are launching in July.
July 11th.
July 11th.
July 11th this year. Oh, wait.
Yes, sir.
Wait, so this is the launch party then,
That's
too.
it.
This is the launch party.
It's the whole launch party.
Wow, having this car show going on behind us, then you're in the right place and being here and getting this launched. But when was the business started? When did you actually...
Well, we started working on it about last year. We started, was it June last year?
June of 24.
June of 24. Yeah. And it was just a group of my friends and I. We got together, saw this flaw, and just started from there.
Okay. So you're first, and so you were telling me too, your first year this year, so you were just founding the business when we had the car show last year.
That's correct.
But you were all working, and you heard all the cars rolling in, right?
Yep.
Because you're right across, your office is right across the parking lot from where we're at, right? Yeah, it's the backdrop here in the camera, and going through it. So, well, congratulations, one, on the start. Two, with the launch coming up here in January. So by the time this airs, it's probably going to be actually coincidental to your go-to-market.
That's funny.
So I'm going to ask some very basic questions, still to make sure I understand the business model of it too. Because I'm fascinated by all this stuff, because I don't understand it. So if somebody was going to go get a car, right? So if I was driving a BMW, pick a car. Driving a BMW, and there's a certain kind of BMW that I wanted to get. Before I go to the factory or before I go to the dealership, should I be on Modworks, or is it after I get the car and then I want to look at what I want to do with it, then I go to Modworks?
It's more of the afterwards. You buy the car, I'll explain how it could be used for the before as well, but I'll start off with the after. The primary audience is people who are buying used cars or already bought a car, and they want to spice up their car. They want to revamp it, add a little bit more. Add some kick, power, make it look better, put a loud exhaust on it. And it's so, like you said, you would already buy a car. You said BMW. Let's use a BMW M3 here because it's a very moddable car. Somebody would buy that, then go to our website, put the year of the car, so let's say 2018, the make BMW, and then the model M3, and then they'd be met with parts that only fit the M3. So it would 100% guaranteed fit. No worries about that. Manufacturer guarantee. So it's great with that. And then the way it can be used for actually pre-buying it as well is, this is something we're debating and looking into, is some people with, for example, M3s, I'll use this again. There's the M3, and then if you go down a step, there's a 340, which is not as fast, not as cool, but it's still a really cool car overall. And some people will actually buy that, and instead of spending the extra money on the M3, they'll put the money into modifying it and make it much better than an M3, cooler, louder, faster. So one way we could actually use this beforehand is, if you want to get an M3 but can't necessarily afford it, you could buy a slightly cheaper car like a 335 or a 340 and use Modworks to spice it up and get the full effect. And
have you always been into cars?
Yes.
Your enthusiasm and your energy is like infectious, right?
There's also an ongoing negotiation right now with the chain of car dealers, and that they are extremely excited about it. They want to take the Modworks as a kiosk inside the dealership, and let people, when they're picking out a used car, so maybe somebody's coming in, they're looking for that M3, but they don't have one.
Yeah.
But they can go ahead and buy the 340.
Yeah.
They can mod it right on the spot.
Really?
And then they'll finance the whole thing, put it all in the financing, send them extended warranty, the whole bit, while they're setting up, so somebody can literally kind of order their car custom right at the dealership. So that's one of the negotiations going on right now.
Now you're an investor.
I am.
In the business, right? Why was it a good investment? What did you look at? How do you assess what makes a good investment? Because you invest in a lot of entrepreneurial ventures. What makes Modworks such a good investment for you?
The very first thing, the most important, is what you just said. passion. These guys and the founders, there's a group of them over there. They're so passionate about this. And when you do a startup and you get into these launches, you hit all the trials and tribulations, all the bumps in the road, all the unexpected stuff, and it's the passion that gets you across. I always look for three things. I always look for a really, really solid product, and I think this one meets the market demand in a very big way. Actually, in fact, as I think now as you're seeing tariffs and pressure on American-made and all that stuff, you're going to see even more of the same kind of pressure. People are investing in their used cars before they can go get a new one. So there's some real strategic advantage there. The second thing I always look for in it is a really, really solid team. People that are passionate in it, that really have their head straight. They understand the market very well. They are the market. So these guys are all consumers of the same stuff. So they're really in touch with it. And then the third thing for me is seeing a wonderful business model. And if the business model is there, if the product is there, if the people are there, if it's got a really good plan, then the money usually takes care of itself. And the passion's got to be at the core.
Yeah, well, it is evident. I mean, it's just your enthusiasm for what you're doing. And I agree with you, too. Right? Having that coming into the office every day is not working.
No.
You just love this stuff, right? The cars
fun.
and...
I mean, we all stay 8 p.m. every night, weekends. We do this every day because it's not just work. It's a passion, a hobby.
We have to peel them out of there at 6, 7 in the morning, overnight. They're staying all the time.
And we've just met, right, coming into this, because you're a first-year sponsor here, too. We've never met before. So I'm the managing partner of our family office services within Clearwater Capital. And as part of that, we've got clients, in Western Europe, as across all the U.S. as well, 39 states in the U.S.
Yeah.
Is they're thinking about their legal structure, their tax structure, their financial structure. Yep. And a lot of it is entrepreneurs. I mean, we have a lot of entrepreneurial wealth that's been created and families that we're serving and how they're thinking about things. And a lot of that time is downstream, right? Mm-hmm. Sold off their company or companies and the multiple ventures that they have going. But they all tell their story, right? And so I launched this podcast. This is a little bit of why I'm representing our firm and the team here today, of even having this conversation on entrepreneurial legacies. Because so many people tell their stories, and they tell their stories and they go back, whether they sold their company for $100 million or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. They come back and there's a little bit of a romantic time that they reflect on, right? Which is their younger years, right? And the launch and the passion and just being like, let's have a couple pizzas and some Red Bulls or whatever, right? And go get this launched and what we're doing in the business and the market and in tune with it. And they look back on it and going, that was some of the most fun we've had in business back there. It was also the hardest, right? But no, I get a sense, right? I mean, you guys are going to do something special with this.
They are.
Because of what you had just said, Ahmed, right? That energy and the passion behind it, too.
Yeah, they have over 70 manufacturers are already behind them, supporting them. They're waiting to get subscriptions for their launch. So the soft launch is July 7th, 11th, just for them.
Okay.
And then July 30th, it goes live to the public.
Nice.
So they have, an array of manufacturers, dealerships, supporters, all suppliers, installers, all getting behind it. He didn't even mention the fact they have a registered install program. So I want you to think of like Amazon, but Amazon had a little F1 baby, and that's what this is.
Fantastic.
It's really super.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's really nice to hear about your business. I mean, we share some of the same genetics in that regard. It's all about looking at some of our businesses and this is global. I mean, they focused on Euro before they even got here. So
really?
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
And so I get the connection with the car show here too, and why you're investing in what they're doing and what you've got launching here. So I understand that connection. Why the charitable component of this? What does that mean when you all talk about saying, do we sponsor something like this car show and being here and giving back to the community from a charitable way versus the business aspect?
Well, I'll explain it to you from Fulcrum's side, right? So from my side, and first of all, thank you very much for doing this. The easiest part of this type of thing is writing the check and making the donation. All the hard work is the volunteers, the setup, the coordination, the design, the planning. It's really an amazing effort. And so we've always been a huge sponsor of children's organizations. Okay. We have a family foundation that's at the core of it as well. Okay. So it was an easy decision to make right away.
Yeah.
And frankly, regardless of budgets, there's just a time and place that you have to do this kind of thing. So in the community, we're very big on giving back. All of us come from this community. Most of the founders are from the community.
Okay.
So we invest in a number of them. There's a big golf outing that we're doing again on Monday. Same kind of thing, big charity outing, and it's for kids. And so when we see some of the community efforts that happen, we feel there's two ways you have to give back. One, you give back by the charity, the donations, the compassion for the area that you're in.
Yeah.
The second one is you invest in the future.
Yeah.
So these kids, they're all part of it. That was the whole reason we created the incubator for them, was there's 112 of them there right now. We started 11 companies with it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a whole bunch of new businesses. And our view is invest in them, give them what they need to survive. If I had what I had now, what I know now, right? So give them what we know now.
Yeah.
Support them with what we know now and help them light it up, and then bring more of it to the community. It just comes a mushroom cloud, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the view we have.
Well, so now I'm feeling terrible that we live right across the parking lot from one another. We haven't met before, right?
Well, we met today.
Yeah, I live over in Barrington Hills, and it's like with our
No
neighbors
kidding.
over there. It's like people are there for decades before they meet each other.
Yeah, no, I live right over there by the pumpkin. Yeah.
Thank you for being a sponsor for the first year. Hopefully, next year
every
we're
year,
sitting
every year,
down
every year. You
and
can count
talking
on
about the first year's launch, right? Coming
no
up.
kidding, no
the
kidding.
success that you're going to realize. This is going to be one of those. I look forward to hearing the rest of the story of how it plays out, Noah, for you, your team, the business. Ahmed, thank you for investing in them, but investing in the community like you're doing, and sharing that, and looking forward to following how this continues to play.
Yeah, my vision is next year we're doing this again, and there's an ecosystem of their suppliers, and they all have to be sponsors or they're kicked out of the system.
There we go.
Just make sure they all have to support this.
Sounds
it's all
good.
about giving.
Good. Giving, and this is where if you do, and if you give,
you get it back. It always goes back.
It always comes back, right? And it's just being good, and it's just good business too.
It's good business.
Absolutely. Absolute pleasure. Congratulations, Noah.
Thank you very much. Nice
I'll look forward to
meeting you.
it. Thank you,
Really
sir. Appreciate it. Listeners, thank you for tuning in today. This has been a packed program, packed day, 2025. 5th Annual Supercar Show for Charity. I'm excited about what the future holds, from the difference in the people's lives, from our end charities, which were just fantastic, in the stories that they shared of the life change that's taking place, for our sponsors that have stepped in and led the way in terms of contributing to the causes of these beneficiaries. Their long-term commitment is leading to the impact. And on this series of Entrepreneurial Legacies, you've heard the stories of business people coming alongside to help those that need a hand up, that aren't looking for a handout from charities, but need a hand up when life gets hard, that the business people and the business community steps in to make a difference, make an impact, and that's the legacy that we're talking about being left here. So thank you so much for tuning in, listening to this special edition in our Supercar Charity Show for 2025. With that, everyone, have a blessed day.